Hello. It's only been a hot minute since I've been live on my own channel. You know, generally I do go on others' channels, which is fun. But it's nice to go in your own to do your own stream once in a while, where you have, the power, and you can just talk how much or as little as you want without being interrupted or, you know. Uh, some of you might wonder what the title is, but others may have, I don't know, noticed. Hey, others may have noticed based on the words I used in the title. But I definitely titled the stream after someone or as an inspiration from someone. Obviously, well, you know what? I'll let you guys say it in chat before I actually talk about it. But yeah, Sammy, how are you doing? It's been a hot minute. Did you call the stream drunk fuckwit? I mean, no, I called it the wildness of the human heart. I thought you'd be able to see the title. You're talking to YouTube, aren't you? Like, do you not see the title? Yeah, that's the one I'm referring to. Wild heart. The wildness of the human heart. That's fair enough. Kind of hard to tell through text. But, yeah. Oi, hello, Trusted Ape. How you doing? I I always feel like at the end of my rope with him. Like, it's been over 2 years, going on three, and literally everybody. Well, okay, I should correct myself. Virtually everybody has tried to help that guy. Okay, has tried to help Wildheart. Has tried to set him on the right path. Has been there for him. Yeah, well, believe it, he did, and I really hope he's sleeping right now. But he might get up and come here. In which case, no, I should probably tell him to go back to sleep. But yeah, I don't know. I have my own shit to deal with. I still want to help the guy, but every time I or anyone else does, he doesn't care. Right? He will tell you, "Oh, I love you, Midnight. You're awesome. You're this. You're that." And no matter how many times you tell him to stop saying that, because coming from him it means nothing, he keeps doing it. And he keeps apologizing for the shit he does, but he never changes. So his apologies are hollow, and they just come up as just going off as manipulation. And I, like, and he's so bad at it too. So you could tell that's what he's doing. He's trying to manipulate you to feel sorry for him. He wants attention, which, okay, obviously every one of us wants attention, but we don't go around getting drunk and doing karaoke and like wanting the people to help us, but then spitting in their face and then saying, "Oh, fuck you! I don't want to. I don't want your help. I want to die. You're the fucking asshole in the content." And then turning around saying, "Oh, Midnight, I love you. Oh, Jode, I want Jode. I love Jode, dude." I hate having a human heart at times. I hate caring about people because there are some people who just never want to change. They never will change. And I know it sounds horrible to say because I've had people in my life give up on me because they thought I was a lost cause. But maybe I am, maybe I'm not. I don't fucking know. At least I'm still trying to improve myself, right? It may be slow. It may be, I may never get where some people want me to be, but whatever. At least I'm trying. All right, and that's a that's about the best you can, you can you can say about some people. They, as long as they try. Yeah, obviously you want to make progress. I don't know. I'm here talking about Wild Heart, yeah, but obviously I gotta mention myself too, because I'm not exactly in the best place either, but I'm not in the worst place in the world. I'm not Wild Heart. I didn't show my cock on stream or piss all over the fucking floor, or it just, Jesus Christ. Like, I even told him, right, like after his little stunt with that, like, nobody's gonna trust him on stream, right? Like the Tog definitely doesn't want him on his stream ever again. I don't blame him because of that. Kevin has let him on his stream today. I forget who else, but yeah, the possibility of him doing it is always there. You know, hey, uh, fuck it. I'll just put the link in the chat, and I'll just control who can come in, because I am God here. Well, not really, but I am the owner. Excuse me. There you go. Let me go to YouTube so I can actually pin this bitch as well. Okay. Now I'm wondering why I didn't just use Sammy's account so I can have 10 people in here. But hey, whatever. Live and learn, I guess. Yeah, well, have fun, Trusted Ape. And this morning, I even told Trusted Ape this morning, because Wildheart came into the stream drunk as hell, and I said, do you realize how much you're disrespecting Ape right now by showing up drunk? The man, the man, uh, the man has tried for months to overcome his alcohol addiction. I've seen some of your videos, right? They popped up on my feed, but I never actually watched them. There was a one where you were like, I think it was like the 1 month chip. God damn it! I was choking on something. Hello.
Well, you have to chew first. What's going on? Something about penis?
Oh yes, penis. My favorite body part. Bad in the asshole, but no, I'm talking about Wild Heart and how, and how I don't know if you heard this, but you did now. Wild Heart showed his penis on stream, not once, not twice, but I believe 4 times. It was just
That just sounds like a drunk British guy to me.
Yeah,
he's doing what the drunk British people do in their natural habitat.
Yeah, but as far as I know, he's never taken his dick out before, other than recently. Like he did try once, backstage, backstage on my channel, but I didn't let him on.
I know there was that, but I could be wrong. But for some reason, I'm remembering that there was one time right before all the jail time.
Well, I think you're thinking about when, because Peter the Tucker was here too, and he had hacks to see backstage. Like I was hosting, but he could see my backstage because of hacks, and
No,
and he
this was
actually
on this was on like one of the Christian streams, if I remember
never mind
correctly.
then.
He might not have. He might have just tried or something. I remember people talking about it.
Wild Heart is doing the Lord's work. Jesus Christ, Spooky. But yeah, no, as I said, I don't know. Like, I just want to be done with him, but curse me wanting to help people.
Oh, wow. I'm like gun shy now. I I
Why?
have I have spent like the last week between playing, recording, and editing. I have heard the phrase or the word, I guess phrase 420 so many times that I'm looking here at 420 in the side chat and my brain's just like, no, don't make me.
I could ban him for you if you want.
No,
Obviously, I'm
no,
joking, but
no.
yeah, I just because like I said this morning he came on Kevin's stream drunk, and I told him like, dude, do you realize how disrespectful you're being to Kevin right now? Like he's tried his hardest. He's passed a couple of months, and you showing up here drunk is just like, what are you doing? Like obviously Kevin didn't say anything, but I don't know. It just felt disrespectful. You know what I mean? Obviously, I was never an alcoholic, so maybe whatever I have to say on the topic is moot because I've never been an alcoholic. So
Wait one sec, because I just got done work. I'm having food shoved at me. I need to like clear the space. I'll be right back. One sec.
okay, well, but yeah, it's been a while. Remember Sammy Jenkins? I'll change my name for you, Daddy Serb. Jesus Christ. Probably should not have read that out loud. It could be taken out of context. Pardon me, I'm a little tired, but then again, that's par from the course. Okay, well, Serb is eating food like the glutton he is. Just kidding, he works hard, he deserves food. Sammy Jenkins. I wonder if having a girlfriend would improve or worsen Wild Heart. Not that he could, not that he get a girl in this state. Depends on the girl. Great point, Kev. Look, look. No woman or man, for that matter, wants a fix me upper or a fixer upper. All right, at least not as bad as Wild Heart. Okay, like it would take great dedication, like a great need to actually take care of another person, to put their entire lives on hold just to take care of this one person. And good luck finding someone like that, because I think that's what exactly what Wild Heart needs, a dummy mommy. He definitely needs a dummy mommy. Uh, do, 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 do. Some women want a mother, a grown man. His own mother does that just fine. Uh, I had a feeling you were going to join, Richard. Hello.
Peace and respect. Well, you'd been correct.
Yes. I love it when I'm correct. Makes me happy.
Not a bad situation. I kind of like being correct. You know, someone once said to me, "Oh, you just want to be right," and I thought, actually, I actually said it. You just want to be wrong? What the hell? What kind of a complaint is? Oh, you just want to be right.
See. This is going to come off the wrong way, but I'm fine with being wrong. But I always want to be right in the right way, if that makes sense. Like, you know
So
what I
far,
mean?
so good. Yeah. Like I don't even mind being corrected. You know, that's fine.
Yeah.
Make me more right. Cool.
Wald will wear a diaper and drink her breast milk, I'm sure. God damn. Okay, Sammy. Thank you for revealing your kink to us, because I think you want to do that as well. I think that's one of your kinks, man. God damn.
Never tried that.
I, I'll be honest, Richard. I don't think you're the type to wear a diaper and suck breast milk.
No, I mean I've never even. I mean the diaper thing, definitely not. But I can't remember what breast milk tastes like from being an infant, and I never tried it as an adult. So I just don't know.
Serb has gone to eat. We lost Serb to the almighty food empire.
That's okay. It's okay. He'll get full and come back.
Do you
So
produce breast milk midnight? No, fuck you. Although I think men can produce breast milk, I don't know how rare that is. I don't know. You were asking?
I heard there's a tribe where actually the males do at least somewhat feed the infants via breast milk.
I mean, I don't know if it's the same tribe, but there's also a tribe where men are the ones that wear dresses and makeup to impress the women.
I don't think so. No. I think men can't produce very much milk, but if they attempt breastfeeding, then the glands will start producing some. I mean, we do have mammary glands. They're just not very darn big.
Which raises the question as to whether trans women can do that, since their bodies are filled with estrogen.
Probably.
They gotta keep taking it, obviously.
Science.
It's all a pretty
disgusting.
motion. She blinded me with science.
Science. It's disgusting, Richard. Sounds like personal testimony and not secondhand information. So I guess you tried and it's no good. Babies seem to like it. Don't know why.
Ain't nobody knows why. Ain't nobody knows why they like anything.
What you sharing?
Nothing. I'm just I just playing with the new with the layout I had.
I don't know.
You know, it's in the form of a T. Like it'll be noticeable if more people come in. I don't know. I just thought it was neat to have it in the form of a T. Have a layout.
So, is it okay to talk about something besides wild
Yeah,
heart?
sure. That's
His antics.
yeah, that's fine. Go ahead. It's actually preferable. I know the
I
title was about
was gonna
that,
ask
but
you
go
what you
ahead.
would want to talk about.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'm
no.
back. Pay attention to me. What's going on?
Pay attention to you. Okay, yeah, hello. We're gonna talk about something other than Wild Heart, if you don't mind, unless you want to keep talking about that and getting depressed. But then again, Richard has something else, which might actually make us less depressed.
Whatever. Well, as long as it's not editing music right now, I'm fine.
Go ahead, Richard.
I guess, Serb, you've been doing a lot of that, editing music.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about that world. No, actually, Midnight, I was going to ask you.
Okay, is it a question?
Yeah, I was going to ask you what you wanted to talk about.
Oh.
Being it's your show and all.
Well, I'll be honest, I'm kind of getting tired of the God talk.
Fair enough.
Wild Heart always brings up, prove God exists. Do you believe in God? This, and that. Like, okay.
The only problem I have with it is those are such fundamental and, just simple questions. It doesn't really get in any nuance. There's no good argument in it.
Yeah, and the conversation has been had for like well over 2,000 years. Maybe less.
Oh yes. Oh yes, definitely.
I don't think anyone's gonna come to the fucking consensus about that unless Jesus Christ and God themselves come down and be like, "We are here, motherfuckers. We don't believe you." Okay, well, don't. You've been worshiping me for 2,000 years. You don't believe I'm real? Wow.
What's going to be interesting is since my opinion, all the religions are talking about the actual same thing, right? So it's not going to be, a Middle Eastern guy in a white robe with a red sash. It's not what it's going to be. It's not going to be, bridging planes of existence from some other realm and the sky opens up like a lot of people think. It's not going to be Ram, dressed as an ascetic in salmon and brown. That's not what it's going to be. Those are just expressions for some certain culture.
Yes, go ahead.
And besides, if that happened, we'd laugh. It would be like not impressive. If it was just some little chariot with fire shooting out the back with some goats drawing it across the sky, we'd go, what the hell was that?
Actually, what I would find most interesting is is that whether Jesus and God or whatever comes down to earth and they appear different to all peoples based on their religion.
Yeah,
which I think is what you're trying to say.
Yeah, that follows since we're talking about. Okay, let's just say for argument's sake that you didn't speak French, right? But I come to you and I speak nothing but French. Well, how's that going to do you any good? So it doesn't even make sense in principle for a society to be given a fairy tale that explains something in a way that they would not write the fairy tale themselves. That makes
I
sense.
love this comment. I love this comment from Spooky Bed Hair. One more day of talking, and all the God stuff will be resolved.
Yeah,
Sorry about that. Would you mind repeating what you were saying? Sorry, I was looking at the comments.
What if he's right? Yeah. I said it only makes sense to tell a fairy tale in the style of the society. It doesn't make sense if you told it some other way. See what I'm saying?
Yeah, but then the implication of that is that every fairy tale ever told is based on it has some truth in it.
Oh, sure, that's the point. Yeah.
Well, fairy tales are usually told to teach a moral. Then again, so are parables, or I guess stories in general. Like,
Yeah.
Myths are very powerful, whether regardless of whether they're real or not.
True. People have fought and died for those kinds of ideas.
Yeah,
And lots of people. That's why I think the Christian argument that the apostles died for something that they knew was false is a bad argument. People have really believed things that weren't true and died for them.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm going to say. Just going to say something. Something could be false in reality, but as long as you believe it to be true, you will act accordingly. So yes, people have died for what they believed to be true, regardless of whether they were wrong or not.
That's right.
That makes sense.
No, that's correct. That's absolutely correct. Yeah, so that's no kind of an argument at all. But I don't find any of the arguments that I've heard from religious people, as I've never heard one argument that was persuasive. Even still today, as a theist, I still haven't heard an argument that's persuasive.
You should have watched Kevin's the Trusty Apes stream this morning. Jill came on because he got triggered when he got triggered. I said that Tupac was smarter than Jill. It was the funniest shit ever. I swear to God, he will deny this, but it was so fucking funny. Wild Hunter was playing changes, right? So I went over there. It's like, man, Tupac is smarter than Jill. And what does he do? He comes on Kevin's streams and starts badgering me. What did you say, Midnight? Midnight? How is Tupac smarter than me? Huh? He died at 26. He went to jail. He went to jail. He doesn't have a PhD like I do. Like, why
what?
is still fucking a PhD?
Did he claim as a PhD in what?
He claimed, I don't know. He never mentioned it, and I didn't really care.
I mean, that's fine if he's abbreviating the words post hole digger.
God damn, that was funny.
But other than that, I'm not going to believe him.
Well, yeah, I didn't believe him either. Okay, oh, so you have a PhD? So fucking what? Many people out there have a PhD, or they, PhD, but but are not smart. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, they're smart in their own field, but they're fucking idiots outside of it.
Oftentimes.
Yeah. I mean, how many times did Richard Dawkins put his foot in his mouth, or Neil deGrasse Tyson?
Never. Not once.
Yeah. As long as you're of relatively average intelligence, all you need is drive. That's really you need. You just need to
drive. That's true.
That's like 90% of getting a PhD is just being unwilling to stop.
Yeah.
I mean, if getting a PhD is accurately regurgitating complex ideas, if it's that kind of PhD,
well, that's like what that's what graduate or like undergrad is, regurgitating stuff.
I was thinking about it. I wonder if there's a way I could get around everything. and just submit. I mean, I'd have to do a little bit of studying to figure out, how they want the papers presented. I don't want to write a Kent Hovind, but
Hi, I'm Ken Hovind, and this is my dissertation.
uh,
Also,
Yeah.
I love this from Hillary. Hey, it took me 12 years to earn my post-hole digging certificate. Uh, that is funny.
I wonder if there's a way, because they say, I don't know that it's true, but they say that Neil deGrasse Tyson did that. He just somehow got to test out and got his doctorates immediately without, huge amounts of schooling and stuff.
Well, it wouldn't be.
So
No,
he's
I
not
mean
a real scientist.
it wouldn't be a doctorate. Individual classes in most universities, as long as you have the professor's permission, they can test you themselves, and then you can test out of a class.
Okay.
Interesting.
See, the ideas that I've adopted are so revolutionary, that, I mean, certainly I could dumb them down by 90% and it would be a dissertation.
Neil deGrasse Tyson has many years under his belt, years of study under his belt.
Yeah.
Perhaps. I don't know. I never really looked too deeply at him.
Yeah, he was a practicing scientist before he became the head of that. What is it? I forget what it is. What's he the head of?
I don't know.
Some science museum or something. I don't know, whatever.
It doesn't matter for the conversation. I mean, we could look it up on Google, but
No, I'm sure he's an autodidact and did a lot of study on his own, and that's how he passed all the tests. But if that's true, then you should be able to just, if you could find the right people, you should be able to just test out. I mean, half these people that I'm not going to bother to name Christians who hold the title of doctor, and it obviously means that they went to seminary and they said the things that people were already saying, but they have a doctorates.
And look, some universities will give I think they're called life experience degrees, where they give you the equivalent credit amount for what they think your level of education is. Right. So if you go out and you research a bunch, write a book, then get published a couple times, and then go to a university and say, "Hey, I've did this. Give me a degree." Some of them will actually give you a degree.
Interesting.
Have to write a book?
No, it's just that you have to do a bunch of stuff that shows you understand the subject.
Sure.
Well, yeah, that makes sense.
That's what it is.
I mean, it seems to me that dissertations are like a highly technical point that is well researched, well thought out, and whatever position the person submitting holds, expressed and supported. That's what it seems to me. Now, they can hold a non-traditional view. That'd be fine.
Sammy and Hillary's flirting in the fucking chat. I love it. Two males bonded where they can flirt with each other without feeling gay.
Oh no,
that's confidence right there. What's that?
Serb.
What's that?
Oh, I said no, they feel gay.
I can't really help but think of all the great men and women throughout history that that contributed so much to our understanding of science and other fields, and they were pariahs, right? They just did their own thing, like Nikola Nikola Tesla, right? That guy was so ahead of his time and just so not really a people person. He didn't really give a shit about patent. Like if he had his way, if he had his way, everyone would have had free internet or electricity or whatever. He got ripped off.
He was on my short list of famous people to box when I was younger.
Nikola Tesla?
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know. It's just like, why wouldn't I? I boxed Nikola Tesla.
I mean, he from what I've seen, he's like scrawny. He doesn't really have any muscle. You pulverize him.
So, I mean, like my list of people, famous people I wanted to box, none of them are like capable.
I'm sorry. Why?
So what you're saying is that you want to bully some nerds.
No, because they're not all nerds.
Well, fair enough, but you want to bully the weak.
I really like the image of like me saying, "Okay, let's go, Electro Boy."
Okay, that sounds funny, but still, no, fuck you. Leave Niccolo alone. Though I'm pretty sure the Nicola we know could probably handle you.
I don't know. Is he crazy?
Very.
Well, I'm not afraid to look any man square in the eyes from 2 miles away through a scope.
Yeah, no doubt.
Is it sniping the coward's way of killing someone? Well, I mean, not
Well, you
always.
could say coward. You could say cowardly, or you could say efficient.
Yeah.
Whatever. For roughly, $2.50, don't have to get any bruises.
Right.
If only that sniper killed Hitler in World War I while he was injured.
No, because if that happened, we wouldn't go to the moon.
Okay, it sounded like a non sequitur on purpose so that you ask, but in reality, it does follow.
Yeah. America probably, well, you probably would have still become the most powerful country on the face of the earth, but it would have took a lot longer.
Maybe. Don't know.
We have a lot of economic advantages just based on the land we occupy.
I really think that's true, yeah.
Yeah. We also have the largest and most fertile farmland on the face of the planet.
I'm not sure about that.
Okay. I am, because I studied.
There's some really good soil in South America. Are you dependent on size to make the statement?
Okay, it's by output, right?
Okay, fair enough.
I get. There's some of those plots that like the Incas or Mayans, I forget which one, had with the special ground where they basically cooked the charcoal into the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They made like the premium soil on the planet.
The thing is, that isn't sustainable at the scale we farm. Right.
Well, that's
so
also
if we're if we're measuring like household gardens, that wins.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, if you're talking about volume output, then yes, you're right. If you're talking about like quality of soil, which has sounded like you were, then I'm going to argue.
Well, I'm just saying quality of soil based on amount produced per average square acre.
Oh,
right. So
okay.
that way it's adjusted for the amount, the size.
Gotcha. Okay, fair enough.
And of course, over time, right?
I'm gonna grant you due to friendship that was your intent in the first place, and you did not actually pivot.
Yeah. We also have the largest network of navigable waterways on the face of the earth. We have more deep sea ports than any other country by like an order of magnitude. Yeah, and large swaths of our I guess it's almost the entire eastern seaboard has an inland navigable channel that is protected by small islands, essentially, run on the coast.
That would make a difference. How much of a difference did the Mississippi make?
Huge, because it goes not just the Mississippi, but all the tributaries that are navigable, right?
Yeah.
Overlap with about 90% of our farmland. So it's really cheap for us to grow and transport food or anything else made on the interior.
I thought it would be a factor. Yeah.
All of like a lot of production, right, is in the heartland. Almost all the food grown is in the heartland, and it's protected by 2 mountain ranges. So we're super defensible, and then we're surrounded by a moat called oceans.
True. How big's the river between here and Canada?
How big's the river? I don't know.
I heard there's a river or a lake or something.
I mean, there's the Great Lakes.
Few armies can fight well from in the water, you know?
Yeah. I have to look this up to be sure on the exact number on this one, but something like if you take a shipping vessel, right, you leave New York Harbor and you go north. From the point that you turn to go into the Great Lakes,
Mm-hmm.
you can navigate through the Great Lakes down the Mississippi, leave the Mississippi, and you go about 30 nautical miles to the east, and then you're inside that navigable waterway that's protected by islands, all the way back up to New York. So you can do a loop, and you spend 85-ish% of that trip internal to the country. So you're super protected.
Peace and respect, Sammy.
G'day, mad cunts.
Thanks.
How are we all?
Wow.
Oh, hello, Sammy. I'm fine. Serv is fine. Richard is fine, and so are you.
Awesome.
I just have songs about weed repeating in my head.
Yeah, I changed my name for you, Seb.
Oh, thanks.
What was
Remember
it before?
Sammy Jenkins, 420 Atheist.
That was just for Serb, huh? That's funny.
Actually, it's funny. I was in bed last night thinking about my old name. Remember Sammy Jenkins? I thought I need to start using that again.
Yep.
That's how I met you.
Yeah. Wow.
So Midnight said he's tired of the God arguments. So we're trying not to do that.
I mean, just so to clarify that, like, if people want to argue that, that's fine. I'm just tired of participating in them. Should have clarified. Although sometimes I do find myself participating in them, which is, that's me.
Does it give you some level of disappointment in yourself when you do that?
Kind of, yeah.
I don't blame you. I kind of get not depressed about it, but holy cow, guys, how old are these arguments?
Oh, if you're talking about the Christian arguments, it's funny.
Yeah.
Last night, my YouTube is on autoplay, and some atheist experience or whatever that old when it was Matt Dillahunty and he was still on public television.
Uh-huh.
And I swear to God, it sounded like an episode from today. There was
Yeah.
not, and they're not even worded different. They haven't found new ways to even present the same arguments. It's a script
There's only so
that
many
has not
ways you can
changed.
word an argument before it starts sounding the same.
Yeah.
Like,
Have the atheistic responses all started to sound the same to you? Because they do to me.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because there's only so many ways to answer the same
exactly.
question.
Yeah.
That's why I only argue my own unique arguments.
Yeah.
Well, you're a unique individual, whereas we're all. Well, I mean, I guess we're all unique individuals, but you get the point.
I think the question comes down to like how much effort or how much passion do you have, or I guess you could say how fringe is your idea. That would make it more interesting.
Yeah, but as somebody pointed out in the chat, that's the excuse to use. That's the excuse they use. Oh, all ideas were fringe. Therefore, my idea is worth, is worth looking at. I think it was Sammy that said this.
Yeah.
Or was it
Well,
Hillary? Was it Hillary?
any
Yes.
idea presented seriously is worth looking at, but some are easily dismissed right away. You know,
True.
which was
Electric
the
Universe.
whole Electric Universe. Really? What do you think Electric Universe means?
Well, from what I understand, and it has been a while since I've looked into it, Electric Universe tries to say that gravity, gravity isn't the main force of the that holds together the universe, but plasma and stars are like giant furnace. I don't know. I don't remember everything about it. I just know that Electric Universe doesn't really hold a candle to the inflation theory. And, the standard model of particle physics.
Okay. Peace and respect back to you, Gaming with Silverwolf. Well, okay, so there's a difference between like science and popular science, where science it seems a little bit dry and it's wordy, and they like to use the terms, the shortcuts that they're used to using.
Well, yeah,
and,
but
and
there's
if
a
you
reason for that. Like there's a reason why science is.
Midnight, what do you think I was going to finish saying? I'm interested.
Proceed. Sorry.
I mean, if you already figured out what the point was, go ahead. Okay. All right. So then popular science is like making it simple, dumbing it down, not using all the specialty terms from within that specialty, right? But people read the popular science stuff and they misunderstand it because it's not actually hard science. And then they'll say things, they'll get excited about, they'll say things, and maybe they'll start talking about it on their YouTube channel and stuff, but people who do that aren't good representatives of any kind of science, including electric universe theory. So what are we really talking about here? Are we talking about people on YouTube who are excited about the idea and talking about it? Or are you talking about the cited, peer-reviewed, published papers? Are you talking about that?
I don't know.
Because there are some. Most people don't know that.
The little understanding I have is that I believe that tried to say that it actually doesn't negate expansion, but explains it.
Yes, It doesn't negate expansion at all. It doesn't negate gravity. Those are just popular things that some people say on their uninformed popular science, casual, not serious reading of it. So, I mean, we could talk about that stuff, but it's just people who are excited about it. It's not the actual information.
I'd be interested. I don't know how complicated it would be, but is there a short version of the explanation of how it works in general?
Sure, I can do
I
that.
know that stars are kind of not waypoints. What do you call it with electricity? Like the conduits or the they're the points that the electricity flows between.
Cathode.
Cathode. So yeah, they kind of act like a cathode.
Mm-hmm. That's part of it. Yeah. Here, I'm putting in your private chat 3 published papers on electric universe theory. So these are serious, which means they're dry reading. They're probably boring as hell, but they're serious. They're not popular science wording. Oh wait, I got another one. I got 4 papers. So this is just a sampling. It's by no means everything, but it's a taste. If anyone wanted to read any of that. Okay, so I was copying links. Sammy, can you say that again? You want? Okay. It would be a dumbed down. I'm not that educated. I'm not a scientist explanation, but I felt like when you said it, I could probably give a fairly decent rendition of it. So, what was it you said exactly? How does what work?
How does it work in terms of the expanding universe? How does the electric universe cause or interact with the expansion?
Okay, so as far as I know, it doesn't even attempt to explain expansion, but says that expansion is an interpretation from our point of view. I do know something about a refutation of the expansion itself in Halton Chip ARP. Halton ARP was Doppler's #1 protege and sat in Doppler's chair longer than Doppler did, and named more bright stellar objects than any human in the history of the planet. And then he published books on his observations, including what he called, I might get this word wrong or this title wrong, I should just look it up, but it was something like, this is pretty close, anomalous galaxies. Now, that was him being nice, because he said they were anomalies and not the norm. But the anomalous galaxies that he mentioned, many of them are cited for redshift. But he had a different theory on what was going on there. And since I don't have a whiteboard, I'm not going to give you a visual on this, but I'll try to explain it verbally. Let's say that quasars are gigantic, immensely dense, traveling away from us nearly at the edge of the universe. That they have a radio signal, and oftentimes are a pulsar. That it has a north and south pole radio signal, and as it rotates, it sends this beep, 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 something like that. It's not that noise, but anyway. And we see galaxies that are rather close and don't have near as much redshift as those do, right? Well, what Halton noticed, and I have really no logical refutation for, if you see a hole in this rationality, you tell me, because I don't see it. These quasars tend to be red shifted. I shouldn't say it that way. It's going to take me forever to explain this. There should not be a material trail between a near bright stellar object like a galaxy with very little redshift leading out to, in a phi spiral, out to a far quasar. That trail shouldn't be there, but that trail is there often, like more often than not. Okay, so they're physically attached by a dust trail in a phi spiral between those two objects.
Particles or something.
Yeah, dust trail. And a dense enough dust trail that we can see it from here with the Doppler. That dense. So pretty damn dense. So since these are supposed to be objects that are really, really, really far away from each other and disconnected from each other, other than they're in the same universe and formed by a different process, there shouldn't be a material trail in a phi spiral connecting them. But there are. Okay. So what Halton Arp had to say about that is those objects that we think are redshifted that are on the edge of the galaxy, edge of the universe, are not. In fact, they are discharges from the near known galaxy that is the reference point for distance. That is to say, they're kind of baby galaxies. And the reason they're redshifted is because they're highly radioactive. They are literally emitting huge amounts of the full spectrum because they just got ejected. They're super hot. They're crazy active. And that would explain why there's a physical material trail connecting them to known nearer objects. Does that make sense?
I'm just that last bit.
Try to imagine a yin and yang symbol.
Yeah.
With a galaxy in the center.
So hot and active.
Yeah.
Is why there's the trail.
No. They're hot and active and they're radiating all kinds of radiation. That's why we see them as red.
What's causing them to leave this trail?
Just the fact that they're made out of matter and they're moving really fast and stuff's coming off of them.
But wouldn't we see that happen all the time?
We do. We do see it happen all the time. It's just, I can't find anybody else but Halton Chip Arp that was talking about it. He took real pictures. You can look at pictures of them. You can see the trails.
So
I got a notebook around here somewhere with several of them illustrated.
So you're saying it's kind of a case of no one's looking at them?
Well, I'm not saying no one's looking at it, and I'm not saying no one noticed. I'm saying it doesn't get talked about in popular science. Maybe they think it's too damn boring, not interesting enough. They're not going to bother talking to us about it.
But I mean, I think they'd want to talk about something that would fundamentally change our understanding of the universe.
Well, I think they're not going to have a choice very soon. Because it's starting to look like, can you hear me okay? It's starting to look like the James Webb Space Telescope is confirming these things. I have no idea how well you're going to be able to see this. It's not big, and I don't know how close I can get in the camera still focus. Ba-dum-bum-bum. So this is by no means exhaustive. No, I don't know how well this camera is going to do, but we'll give it a try. Okay, so like, don't I have pretty writing for a guy? Okay, so like IC 1767, there's 2 radio lobes around it, and the redshift is the same as the distance to the center. In other words, they're equidistant by redshift. That makes sense?
Yeah, I understand the idea. I'm sure you'll get to the consequence of that.
Right. And these are just 4 examples, and I wrote down the actual redshifts and the actual distances, you know, and all that stuff. Okay. Yeah, so you can look at like anomalous galaxies and see exactly, and you can read all about it, and it's, I mean, eventually it ruined his career, even though he's like of the modern age, the dude. It ruined his career. He got shunned for some 20 years. He's, I don't know when he retired, if he retired. He's got to be an old man by now, but he started working at the Max Planck Institute, accepted an offer there, and they got him out from underneath the telescope. But he's brilliant, so they, you know, they wanted to keep him in the community, generally speaking. But yeah, it's kind of a sad story, actually. He went against the norm and said things that was argumentative, and they shunned him. And not that that's the first time that ever happened to somebody like him in history. Not at all. But anyway.
Are you
It
there,
actually
sir?
works out to be a better explanation.
Oh, you might be away. I'm interested because I don't know. It's all above my head a little bit too much for me to.
I don't think it's above your intellect. It might be above your education, but it's not above your intellect.
Yeah, above my education at least. I do understand the concepts, but I don't know enough to, like you said, logically, I can't see any problem.
Right.
Um,
So, but that was all off topic and kind of on a tangent. As for Electric Universe, like let's say that we were talking about instead of outer space, because electricity works the same on all scales. It just does the same stuff no matter how much is there, right? So let's say that let's bring it down to something more palatable. Let's say that I had a laboratory, you know, at some college or something, and I could create a near perfect vacuum, right? And let's say that it also had an anti-gravity function to it, right? So I could just have like particles of crap floating around in there, right? If you run an electric discharge through a semi-vacuum, it actually sorts materials. Now you can watch this happen in real time.
yeah.
By taking like a non-conductive plate, running an arc through it, and putting several different kinds of materials on it. You can watch it repel some. You can watch it pull some strongly. Some it'll pull weakly. All of it will cause some kind of geometric pattern. And the most common geometric pattern that it creates is circles. Now, the circles are not perfect. They're not perfect circles. and they are not necessarily centered on the discharge, and they're not necessarily equidistant to each other around the discharge, but it does form them, and it does sort materials, right? Now, if you were to look into, I should look up Sapphire Project while I'm saying all this crap. Let me look that up. If you look into Sapphire Project, which is misspelled, it's not like the stone. It's Safire Project. The Electric Universe Theorists, which, okay, it's a stupid name and it's not what it means. I get it. It's actually Energetic Universe, but that doesn't sound as cool. And they're science guys. So they weren't really creative in the naming of their own stuff, right?
Science never
I'll
is.
grant you all that. But these guys did what Hollywood did in Spider-Man 2. They took scientists and in a laboratory made a working sun. Can you dig that?
Yeah,
We
I
have
think
made a
I
working
read
sun
about
in
that.
a laboratory. What's that?
I think I actually read about that.
Okay. So it literally does everything that our sun does. Here's the funky part. The most juice that they put to it is 1,800 volts DC. And it has discharges of millions of degrees. It does funny things, like it doesn't want to take all the 1,800 volts. Sometimes it'll only accept a lot less than that, 20%, 30%, 40% less than that. It just won't take it. And that's while it's building up its own plasma charges and getting ready to discharge. This thing, in fact, is so hot that it's in a 3-foot wide, I think, and 9-foot long stainless steel chamber to use different combinations of gases to control the environment, to put probes in it, and to contain the damn thing. That they can't run it any more than 45 seconds. It'll melt the container it's in.
Okay, that actually might answer my question that I was going to ask you.
Which was?
Well, if the energetic universe is basically explaining it in a very layman's term, electricity running between bodies in the universe.
Mm-hmm.
When I have, say, a Faraday, is it? Oh no, what do you call where the two rods and the spark goes between the rods? One of those devices, and then the spark travels up the two rods.
Oh, to like create static electricity, like it'll make your
Yeah.
hair stand up. That thing.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not going to remember it because I'm under pressure, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So what happens if we pull those apart? There's a point where the arc won't jump anymore.
True.
So wouldn't that be the case in an expanding universe? Like, wouldn't this connection be getting stretched and stretched?
Yeah, well, I suppose it would be. But what happens if you separate those two rods and then you increase the voltage? Could it develop an arc again?
Yeah.
It'll reconnect. And is there any distance that you could accomplish where if was the shortest path, it wouldn't take it if the voltage was high enough?
No, there's no.
It would always just take it. Yeah. So what they're proposing is
increasing the voltage. Yeah.
Well, that would be a natural function of the universe as a whole anyway. You're not actually turning up the energy. You're just guiding more in one direction rather than another, because it will take the shortest path. It just will. As things expand away from each other,
There's a new
It's our
shortest
theory
path.
that none of them are getting closer, but there is still a shortest path, no matter what. So what I'm saying is, in order for this to be true, this has to be unimaginable at our level of technology, unimaginable energy, just really crazy amounts.
Or unimaginable size. As in, I can imagine a universe as a whole being big enough that zoomed out on that scale, the system works. It's just this.
Well, you know that electricity will like pull water toward it, will pull minerals toward it, all kinds of stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or repel in some instances.
In some instances, depending on which way it's going and what kind of material. Yeah. So let's just scale that up. If you've ever seen a picture of the cosmic web, it looks like, I don't know, bone marrow, or maybe a really complicated plant system, or something like that.
Or like a network of neurons, or
it looks like a brain. Yeah, it does. Peace and respect, Hillary's, and also Marty, and Mac the Human. Okay, so here's what's weird. You know, the bright stellar objects are only along those filaments? That there's literally nothing in between?
Yeah.
Well, why are they in lines? Why is all the material in these lines? Wouldn't you think that? Wouldn't the Big Bang model indicate that? Yet. Well, I think we do. I think they're being energetically drawn.
I mean, sorry, a consensus.
We don't have a consensus on that. Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, and that's why they believe that dark energy and dark matter is involved.
Right. You know, the funny thing is that we see electricity and we see it do this, and we know that it works at all scales, but we're still hypothesizing dark energy, something we have absolutely no evidence for. I mean, there's literally no actual evidence for any dark energy or dark matter anywhere. It's just a necessity of the observations.
And what's the phenomenon where something is the same zoomed in as it is zoomed out?
Same zoomed in as it is zoomed. I don't know.
There's those
never heard that
videos where it will zoom in on a pattern and focus in on a point in the pattern, and as you get right down into that point, it's actually the entire pattern again.
Oh, like the Mandelbrot set?
Mandelbrot. That's it. I see a lot of that in this.
Well, I think fractals,
and we sort of see that from the smallest to the largest in the universe. We see these same patterns, shapes. Sure. Yep.
Mac the Human may have came up with the correct term, fractals.
Fractals. That's the
I literally said that.
Oh, you must have been muted.
Oh, well, I said fractals.
Yeah.
So Mac the Human he says he's using the Julia set, which is like the Mandelbrot set, but with different rules.
Oh.
And yes, you see the same thing at different scales. Yeah. Fractals. So you know, if it's not electric, if it's random, if it's expanding, if it's dark energy, it should be more random looking. it shouldn't have repeating patterns at different scales. You wouldn't expect to see that. However, if it's electric, if it's energetic, you can repeat that all day long easily. You could do it as a novice, perhaps, early in your physics career in college, you would be showing things like that. It's not even special. Because when you make an energetic discharge, there's a current that flows around. Like you can set up an electromagnet and take non-ferrous metals, like I saw somebody did this with mercury. Set an electromagnet in a pool of mercury and put styrofoam on top of it so you can see it moving, and it starts spinning clockwise. The mercury will start spinning, and the stronger the force, and the closer and the more the mercury, and the higher the edges, it'll just keep speeding up, and it's pretty damn crazy. It'll get really fast until it meets its its friction limit versus the bowl, etc., like that, right? But if there weren't a bowl there, it would just keep speeding up forever, or we get pushed away from the magnet. But there's this current, right? And the scientists who came up with an explanation and observations about these currents and which way they move, and where they are on scale from the size of the discharge was, hold on a second, searching my Rolodex. Crap, I know this. Birkeland. They call them Birkeland current sheets. So in Birkeland current sheets, you have like, I don't know, imagine an umbrella only 1/3 open. And then double that umbrella so that one's pointing one way and the other one's pointing the other way, right? And the cathode is in the middle where the two handles touch. That's where the cathode would be. Well, Fraunhofer, crap, did it again. Birkeland current sheets are like having 12 layers of umbrella at different amounts of opening so that they're slightly spread out from each other and in doublets. And that wavy circle around the center pole of the umbrellas traps, they draw materials toward that gap between the two sheets and maintain it there. This is a really good explanation for why there are planets, why the materials that are there are where they are, the amount of the materials that would be there, the maintenance of these nearly circular but not circular but still maintaining and at the same speed. By the way, in a centrifuge, that makes no sense. In a gravitational model, that alone makes no sense. Is because they're trapped between these Birkeland current sheets. And if you're wondering about the part I just said, that makes no sense. I never did really describe that. If you had a rubber band, that is to say gravity, from a center point, and you had a weight on the end of that rubber band, right? And you were turning that object using centrifugal force, so it stretched out the rubber band, right? If at any point that rubber band got stretched out further, that's because the weight must have been going faster. Make sense? And for it to get closer, you need the weight to slow down. But planets orbit the sun in a non-perfect circle without speeding up and slowing down. So gravity is a really bad explanation for the orbits of the planets.
So if I try and steelman your position, you don't actually disagree with gravity, as
No, it
people
exists,
say,
obviously.
but you believe that the explanation, our explanation of it or understanding of it, because we apparently don't. We can explain the how, but not the why.
That's correct.
And
We see
you're
how, and
sort
we
of
even
saying
use
this explains the why.
yes. So overall, what it's proposing is a fourth fundamental force.
Yeah. Okay.
Because
Which
all of our
isn't
description of
there
gravity,
supposed to be one that they suspect there should be one? We just don't know what it is yet.
well, that's one of those things that came out years and years ago, along with electric universe theory. But the mainstream went away from that, and it kind of got poo pooed. But these are not new ideas at all. To address quickly, Mac the Human. Richard, does your biblical understanding or revelation depend on electric universe theory, or can it all work with currently agreed upon physics? Well, first of all, there's maybe a hidden assumption in there. Electric universe theory doesn't disagree with currently agreed upon physics. In fact, it uses them, completely agrees with it. It's just talking about what's a better explanation of what's causing what we see. And yeah, actually, for the dislodging of Mercury, the planet, electric universe theory would have to be true. Because if it was gravity, you couldn't do it by physical impact. And there isn't going to be something that physically impacts Mercury, which leaves it as a solid singular object for it to go out to Jupiter. So it has to be discharged by some other means. And an oppositely charged extrasolar system object, if electric universe theory is true, could dislodge a planet just by disrupting the field that it's in. That's okay, brother. I know you didn't really mean it. So I really don't see anything like, okay, we see black holes spitting stuff out, Hawking radiation, right? But it took someone like Hawking to be able to create a theory to explain why that would be true. How do you explain that? It took someone as brilliant as Hawking to explain that. You know how easily electricity passing through that area explains that? Electricity draws physical material and energizes it until it becomes illuminated. Northern Lights is an example of that. Does it do it north and south? Well, northern and southern lights are examples of that. So why wouldn't we see, if it's electric, a northern and southern jet on active galaxies? You should see them, and we do. Birkeland current sheets at the center point of the cathode, like the umbrellas, join at the bottom where the two handles touch, making like an extended diamond shape above and an extended diamond shape below. And that's how they call that middle the pinch point. Go look at the box galaxy. It looks like an obvious pinch point with a jet facing up and a jet facing down. Now, how are we going to explain that using dark matter and dark energy? That there happens to be a high mass both above and below the box galaxy to cause the stream? Well, why is that huge amount of dark energy and dark matter, or both, or either one? Why are they there, and why are they staying there? So, to my mind, the proposition of dark energy and dark matter actually raises more questions and doesn't solve anything. I mean, it might solve the immediate question, sure, but it's going to cause so many more questions that there would be no end to it, in my opinion. Like we could say something like every counterclockwise turning spiral galaxy where the ends of the spokes are actually moving faster than the middle and leading the charge is caused by dark matter surrounding that galaxy. Well, now I want to know, why is the dark matter on a singular plane? Why is it in a donut shape? And what is making it rotate? See how that just asked another question? Because in order for it to be pulling, and it would have to be moving. Why is it moving? Well, there's this other stuff called dark matter. And it's pulling on the dark matter. Well, what's pulling on that? Whereas if you have just, there is energy in the universe, it moves because it's taking the shortest path. The Birkeland current sheets do rotate that way naturally. Nothing left to explain.
Everyone died.
Oh, well, I'm thinking. I'm assuming other people are too. I mean, doesn't dark matter just kick the can down the street? Doesn't it not answer?
I missed part of it. What did you just say?
Okay, you got a spiral galaxy, right?
Okay.
And you've got the spokes leading the charge. That is, they're going faster, and they're leading the way, which most people don't know that, but it's actually true. Then you need, on outside of that, on that same singular plane around the galaxy, say like some kind of donut shape, or some kind of ring shape, or at least like a 33 1/3 record shape of dark matter that's causing that spiral galaxy to be extended that way. But that's actually not good enough, because in order to maintain the spokes, you need that dark matter to be turning. It couldn't be static and turn a galaxy. It would have to be turning, and it would have to have inconsistencies in it. They're pulling harder on some places and less on others. And that would have to be consistent in a predictable pattern around the spiral galaxy. But now you've got the dark matter that's also spinning. I want to know what's spinning the dark matter.
Wait, why would the dark matter not be spinning?
I'm sorry?
Why would the dark matter not be spinning?
No, okay, let's grant that it's spinning. What's causing it to spin? Because it was supposed to be the explanation for something spinning.
I mean, assuming it's matter, the reason why it would spin would be the reason why all other matter spins. You have essentially velocity going one direction, and then you have gravity affecting it.
Yeah.
That's why it spins.
Oh, well, then that's why spiral galaxies spin, but it isn't, is it?
No, it is.
No, then why do they need dark matter?
Because we think they would spin too fast without it.
We think they would spin too fast without the resistance.
Yeah, the whole entire idea of dark matter.
Why do we see them slowing down?
No. The whole entire idea of dark matter is essentially based on simulations that we've done, based on what we know, or what we think we know.
Yeah.
That in those simulations, the galaxies kind of just spin apart, and because we don't see that, there has to be this dark matter.
There's not enough matter in the spokes themselves, nor at the center of any given galaxy, to keep a spiral galaxy together, right?
Yeah.
Gotcha. How does that solve something?
Well, if there's extra gravity, then that would explain why the galaxies we watch don't spin apart.
So the dark matter is in between the spokes, or amongst the spokes, or even in the spokes, right?
Well, usually it's on near the outside and in a essentially like a globe around.
Okay, now I'm asking why it's a globe shape.
On the same reason why the gas is a globe shape.
Well, the gases are a globe shape because they're drawn toward each other. The pressure is highest in the center, and unless something pushed on the outside of them, well, because they equalize. That's not even true. I don't even need to get into that. That just because the gases are touching themselves, they equalize into a bubble in a non-gravitational area. That's why.
Yeah.
So why doesn't the dark energy all go to the middle of the galaxy and center on that and just increase the center of the galaxy? But that's not the proposition, is it?
Well, no, but dark. It wouldn't be dark energy, dark gravity.
Whatever.
Matter.
Whatever. The
Yeah,
dark term they use, dark matter. Why doesn't the dark matter do the same thing if it's particulates? What's stabilizing that it can stabilize the spokes on a spiral galaxy?
It's all just gravity. That's all we're doing. If we had more gravity than we observe normally, that makes it stable. If it had less gravity, then it wouldn't be stable. If it had more gravity, like a lot more gravity, it might actually spiral inwards, like you're talking about.
Right. That's what I think it would. If it was the wrong weight at all, it would just collapse. I mean, weight versus speed, it would just collapse. Yeah. Okay.
And that's true whether dark matter is like axions or micro black holes or like rogue planets. It doesn't matter what it is. It's all we needed was more mass than we observed with our telescopes, essentially.
Right. More than light matter. So I just think that's kicking the can down the street. I don't think it's actually answering something. It's just going to raise more questions about why is the dark matter more stable? Why is, maybe you can tell me, why is the dark matter an answer?
Well, it's not more stable or less stable. It just, if it's matter, it's just a type of matter that only interacts gravitationally.
Is it supposed to be heavier or lighter on average than the stuff we do see?
Every kind of particle is a different mass. Right.
Okay.
There are some theories of dark matter that makes the dark matter micro black holes, which would make them relatively heavy compared to an electron. Right.
Okay.
But then there's also like neutrinos or axions. There's like other possibilities of what it is, which would make it either heavier or lighter than other particles.
Okay, so the answer is we don't have a standardized theory yet, and we don't know. Is that the answer?
Yeah, the theory is literally, hey, we need more gravity than there is, so there must be something that makes gravity. That's where we're stuck at.
Do you disagree that electricity works the same at all scales? If our universe is inside of a black hole, would the laws of nature they'll be different outside of that black hole? I would think so. If there is such thing as a black hole, I don't know.
That would depend. I mean, mathematically, according to our understanding, there's some crazy changes once you go inside a black hole compared to where we are. Like the direction of time and spatial direction literally swap places, for example.
Say that one more time, please.
According to the math,
yeah,
the temporal direction, and spatial direction switch places when you go into a black hole.
Interesting.
And I don't think there's any way to accurately describe that other than saying, wow, that's weird.
Max says he used to have a micro black hole, but he misplaced it.
Probably evaporated.
Same thing Hillary said. It evaporated. I knew I should have put it in the fridge. Oh my gosh. Sealed container. That's the trick, man. You can't let them evaporate. Maybe put a little apple slice in with it so it stays moist. What did you say to my question? Does electricity scale? Does electricity act the same at all scales? What'd you say to that?
I would say, like it's no,
No.
right? Because the fundamental aspect of how electricity behaves is sort of defined on a small scale, right? So that same effect you see it on any small scale, you'll see at any small scale anywhere in the universe.
Okay, that's fair, obviously.
Yeah, but you're not going to see like an electric arc going from the Milky Way to the observable edge of the universe. That's just
from the Milky Way to the observable edge of the universe. Well, there's stuff in between those two things, so I would think not. Since electricity takes the shortest path between objects, it would hit the next nearest thing.
I mean, with enough force, it can skip over things. That's what I'm saying. It's just there are physics doesn't scale like from one size to another because you have fundamental size of particles, right? And those sizes don't change.
Fair enough. That's true.
Right? So the apparent effects of something changes as the scale changes.
I was kind of granting all that though in the original statement.
So my answer is no, but it's not like I don't know. Like it would be weird if it did.
Yeah, that'd be pretty weird. But I'm not even sure, Sammy, I did even a piss poor job of answering to you. I don't know. Here's something really crazy for you guys. I'm not willing to plant my flag on this, but it sounds interesting. The Earth and Mars have matching trenches, as much as a trench might match, in Valles Marineris on Mars and the Grand Canyon on the Earth. Now, if the Grand Canyon was carved by water, that would not explain some of the features of the Grand Canyon. For instance, the scalloping of rock along the edge. That is to say it makes like a pattern like a seashell. And we see those on Valles Marineris on Mars. The fact that it would have had to have been a severe shift in the tectonic plate and the water would have to run for some time the opposite direction. That is, right now, some of the water would have had eroded rock uphill, or the tectonic shift plate shifted and the other way used to be uphill, or the downhill used to be the other direction. But that's a really nasty shift, and you'd think it would have really changed some other stuff. So it doesn't look like there was that shift.
On Mars, or
and
on Earth?
What's that? On Earth. I was talking about the Grand Canyon.
Oh, well, elevation of land changes constantly.
Well, yes, the elevation of land changes constantly, yes. And so does pitch slightly. And tectonic plate movement, which I just referred to, does happen. But for that kind of tectonic plate shift and tilt difference, where water flow would run north from that area instead of south from that area would be a really big shift, and I would expect to see other damages, other evidence of it. Perhaps at the top of the plate, a significant mountain range like at the subversion at the Rocky Mountains, something like that. You might expect to see something like that, but there ain't one. Just for instance. And Valles Marineris on Mars is, geez, don't quote me on this, 7 miles deep, not 1 mile deep, or 10 miles deep. Anyway, magnitudes deeper, miles upon miles deeper. And Valles Marineris has the same general look as the Grand Canyon does, right? And they are on opposing hemispheres where one can point at the other. Okay. Valles Marineris on Mars has solid rock drawn up above the surface of the planet hundreds of meters in super sharp points. So there's all these spikes along the edge. Of course, there's not a whole lot of weathering going on Mars. So there's no reason for them to be weathered away by freezing and thawing and wind and rain and all these things that sand impact, granular aggregates, things like that. Don't much happen there. So you'd expect stuff to be, in its more original state. And on one end of Valles Marineris, you see a big smooth place in a circle. And on the opposite end of it, you see repeating hashtag marks, a grid, like a screen. And we know that we can do that with electricity. We can electrically excavate, and it will leave those spikes up at the edge. It'll leave the scalloping on the edge. It will, like lightning will, it will sometimes excavate deeper than in other places, just depending on where it's jumping and where it's concentrated in the moment. And it'll leave a circular, smooth place on one end and a grid on the other. And we see rocks, good chunks of rocks on either side of Valles Marineris, which you'd expect from electrical machining and excavation, where it just spits material out of the ditch. But we see the same kind of rocks around the Grand Canyon, on top of the mountains on either side of the Grand Canyon. Now, if you just weathered Valles Marineris, or you unweathered Grand Canyon, I think one would look just like the other, just at a slightly different scale. What do you think of that?
Well, for example, like the Grand Canyon's like 70 million years old.
Fair enough.
And the Rocky Mountains started forming in 80 and finished forming roughly around 55. Right, so there is gigantic changes right next to it while it's forming. My point.
What do you mean right next to it?
Yes.
Because I thought the Rocky Mountains were along the edge of two plates.
Yeah.
Well, the Grand Canyon's not at the edge of two plates.
Yeah, but the elevation in plates changes a lot when they're jamming into each other.
Yeah.
As an example based. I think that goes against your point about there's no real explanation. It would have to do this and do that, but it kind of does do that, is what I'm getting at.
I must be missing your point.
The kind of elevation changes and climate changes, all the things necessary to form the Grand Canyon with water happened. and does happen, continues to happen.
Fair enough. At some scale and to some degree, sure.
Yeah, and I don't know if I would call the stuff on the end of Valles Marineris a grid. It's more like cracking than a grid.
It's more like cracking than a grid. Do you think meteoritic impacts cause some grid-like or crack-like looking pattern?
No, but a planet of this crust of a planet losing billions and billions and billions of kilograms of water can cause cracking.
Billions and billions and billions of kilograms of water. Well, wouldn't that require that the soil was very, very wet? Because this is what I see in cracking in deserts and stuff. If that's what you're talking about, the dirt cracking because it dries out.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen that. It looks more like blood vessels or something. And it usually doesn't crack very deep, and different layers of sediment will crack in different ways, and you don't get super deep cracks like that. And anything that's below surface very far stays moist and doesn't crack at all.
Yeah. On
So
Earth,
because of the scale of the quote, what
moisture.
you're saying looks like cracking, I don't think that works for drying out and cracking.
I think it does, because I think it does scale that pattern anyway. Because on Earth it will stop, because eventually it'll get down to some moisture, right? It will only crack down so far. But we're talking about the crust of a planet losing almost all of its water.
Yeah, I got that.
And Valles Marineris being one of the last places likely to have water on the surface of Mars.
I got that. Yeah, following so far.
So I think that would explain the cracking. There's probably even other explanations I'm not aware
wouldn't
of.
the water that you're claiming that it would collect be at the bottom and not at the top of the trench?
It'd be in both places.
Why would the water be at the top of the trench?
It would start at the top, and then as it evaporates, it goes lower and lower.
Yeah.
Right, that would make sense.
So, something on the order like 3/4 of Mars was underwater.
That's what they say, yeah.
Yeah, Valles
That's part of the
Marineris was
theory.
underwater.
That's part of the claim, yeah.
Yeah.
And would you like to use the same explanation for the smooth place on the opposite end?
No.
Well, why is the other end different?
Well, different elevations for one.
It's
Also,
not that different of an elevation if you had that amount of water disappearing off of a planet in a relatively small amount of time, allowing for drying that would cause that kind of cracking. It's not that significantly different.
Yeah, measured from the center of the planet, it is fairly different.
You said 2/3 of the planet was covered in water, did you not?
Yeah.
It's 2/3 different?
No, I'm saying the actual ground, the hard stuff. The
Yeah.
elevation's different.
By enough that it wouldn't be covered by the same 2/3 water. It's gonna have to be a significant height difference. Is it?
I'm not talking about. I mean, compared to the whole planet, you're right. It's not that significant.
That's what I
compared to surface features, it's really significant.
Well, I'm gonna have to look up the height difference between those two. I never bothered. I haven't heard this argument before.
And I'm trying to remember if it's where's the big impact point?
What do you mean the big impact point?
There is a place on Mars
Mm-hmm.
that is essentially a kind of relative. How do I want to put it? It is essentially a crater, but it's huge and shallow.
Okay. Electric universe theory does not try to explain meteoritic impacts. I think we already understand that well enough.
No, I'm trying to remember, because I don't remember if that's on the opposite side of Valles of Marineris or not.
I don't know. I didn't study it because it wasn't attached to the subject we were actually discussing, or nor what I would have been interested in. So I don't know.
I don't know where it is either.
I know. What is there? A total of 17 or 18 impacts on the planet Mercury because they got named after Spanish fleet boats. Like, I know a few of those because my interest in religious stories.
Plus, like if you want to say Valles Marineris was created by a large lightning strike, I don't think lightnings. I don't think that phenomenon scales to that size.
Would it have to be one lightning strike? What about like an arc welder, where it would gouge a seam?
Well, then you would need a bunch of separate arcs going along the exact same path.
Yeah,
Well, if
and
it
that
was
would
the
make sense, wouldn't it?
distance, it would do that. And if a planet were rotating, which they seem to, it would travel.
I don't know that wouldn't explain why it's only in that one spot and only going
Oh,
going
maybe
multiple
it's more
times across
conductive
the
there
same
for some
place.
reason.
Well, maybe. Let's just say maybe, but then we're stuck with maybes.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
really want to play with maybes, but we know that planets rotate rather slowly. We know that electricity arcing, especially at that scale, would be a very rare event, right?
We've never observed it.
That's a very rare event, one we haven't seen yet. But we do know that electricity will machine and leave that kind of signature. And it's a pretty specific signature. Whereas we do not see water randomly causing things like scalloping. We don't see water machining things out of a hole to the outside of it unless the water is going down very fast, very rapidly. But when you wear something from the top of the bottom, the rocks, you'll never find a river where the water pushed a rock up over the riverbanks and set it to the side. The water's just not going to do that because it's down in the river. It's just going to push the rock downhill. But we see that on both Valles Marineris and Grand Canyon.
No, we would. If it was like a major flood, like when the Mississippi flooded and it went over its banks, you could have
Well,
a
that's what I'm
tidal wave
saying.
going from one edge to one end of the river to the other,
Right.
ejecting all kinds of crap to the sides. Maybe even
Right,
lifting
but-
off the bottom of the river.
No, that would be fine in a really severe. That's why I said, like, unless it was falling down fast or something and pushing it
Oh,
up
okay.
off the sides. That's why I said that. I mean, because it can happen, but that's not what you normally see in like any kind of a slow, steady process
Right.
over millions of years of the Grand Canyon theory.
Right.
We shouldn't see boulders on top and on the sides of the mountains on each side of the Grand Canyon, obviously excavated from the canyon on top. You shouldn't see that.
You may be going off a different theory than the one I heard, because the one I heard was it was because of glaciation, and that at some point something caused a major lake up in like Wyoming to break free, and that huge rush going down the Grand Canyon, which was not all that deep at the time, caused it to have all that and throw stuff off the sides. They said that it would have to be rapid because the way it was eroded on the sides.
Well, I like that better than what they taught me when I was in school. Peace and respect, Green Soul. Am I
think it's the more
into
modern.
electric universe theory? Not exactly, because some of those guys are going, I think, way beyond the limits and getting really experimental.
Uh-huh.
And Green Soul, I just don't agree with a lot of what a lot of proponents say. Okay. But there are certain parts of it that I look at and I go, you know what? That part makes sense.
I don't think we see electrical discharges large. Like where were the a lightning bolt discharged from to hit
The
like
sun?
Dallas does?
Okay, well, first of all, this Earth is a capacitor, which can be proven because it both has induction and discharges from outer space all the way down, into the upper atmosphere, cloud layer, right down to the Earth, which we call that lightning. Okay. And it goes the opposite direction too. Sometimes lightning goes up into the clouds and out into space. So it obviously can take in electricity from an outside source, and it obviously can discharge. The only thing that I know that does that is a capacitor, and it's at full charge. Now, that does not mean the Earth was always at full charge. It does not mean that. In fact, it could have started out with a very, very low charge, like before there was atmosphere or a decent amount of it, before there was oceans or a decent amount of it. It might have had a very, very low charge and not a very good ability to induce, without that atmosphere, without that moisture, electricity from outer space. Now, other planets could do that too. Now, right now, the Earth's at full charge, but there could have been at one point in the distant history of this solar system a great differential between Mars and the Earth, and it arced.
I don't think there's enough matter on the Earth that.
Dude, it's only shortest distance with least resistance. You know how electricity works. I don't need to explain that to you.
Not enough matter on the Earth for what?
To carry that level of charge.
Really? Why?
Yeah. Because of the distance.
Well, would you tell me what the differential is in our charge versus, I don't know, the next nearest Earth-like planet in the next nearest galaxy? What's the differential there?
And
I
also,
have no idea.
Well, what's the differential between here and Mars?
I still have no idea.
Yeah,
how
no
much
kidding.
of an arc?
So how
like,
can
no
you
one
say
knows.
you don't think? Because electrical storage is like it's a comparative thing. How negative is this and how positive is something else is the question, not just the size of this thing.
The amount of being discharged limits how far the discharge could go.
Is that in an atmosphere or in a vacuum too?
I don't. I know it affects it, but I don't think it affects it that much.
You don't think what affects it? A near
Whether it's
vacuum or vacuum doesn't inhibit?
I don't think a vacuum inhibits.
That's
in
right.
this
It
case.
just becomes invisible discharge.
Yeah. No light, no sound.
Right. Because there's no matter for it to energize, but it'll still arc invisibly. In fact, you can watch in a vacuum chamber what the arc looks like between cathode and anode. And as they vacuum it out, it becomes shorter. The sparks can be, reaching completely across visually. And they look like they just get shorter and shorter and shorter until they absolutely disappear in a vacuum. But when you read it, it's still transferring electricity. You just can't see it.
But if we had, okay, I do think atmosphere helps though.
What do you mean? If there's conductive particulates in between the cathode and anode?
Yeah.
Like dust in the air? Sure, that would help.
No, I the way I'm saying it, I think the lack of an atmosphere and the lack of a ionosphere would actually enable what Richard's talking about when the two orbits, bring the planets close enough together.
It would see because there's I want to remember so much, right? If you have a vacuum, no energy is being used going from anode to cathode. No energy is being used on matter in between, right? But if you have matter in between, you need less energy to jump from point to point.
Okay, so when there's a whole bunch of dust, let's say it was iron or some other metal, or even the little stones, from before they all got swept away by the planets, when the sun was, when the solar system was still fairly new, that would make sense, wouldn't it?
No, I don't
In
think
this,
so. I think we're
well,
still
if
talking
it
about too
happened
much.
during the solar disk, before the absolute cleaning
Yeah,
out of the solar system from all
yeah,
dust.
before the planets swept away all the solar debris. Yep.
Well, if there were solar debris between planets in a disk, much like we see around, say, Saturn or something, right?
Hmm.
And it was of conductive materials that had been yet to be swept away. Would it make sense that we see that amount of weathering on it, leaving it looking very different from Valles Marineris, with that amount of time and sweeping away of materials still to be done? Actually, that sounds like a pretty attractive explanation.
Yeah, I still don't think it's enough energy.
Well,
I don't know what you mean by enough.
We're talking significantly more energy than the sun gives off to arc that
no.
far.
How do you know that?
Well, it's just a ballpark.
Yeah,
It
that's a
takes
pretty big ballpark.
Yeah, like it takes a ton of energy for lightning, and it's all part of the same system. It's all touching itself.
Well, when you say it like more than the sun gives off, more than at any one amount of time. But if the sun stored up its energy for like 30 seconds and then had a huge discharge, it would be
It
about,
does.
yeah.
Now we're
So
adding
it
in
would be similar to that.
but now we're adding in a novel theory of how stars work.
No,
No.
well,
We're
no,
just
no, no, no,
talking
no,
about
not no,
capacitors.
no. I'm not saying how stars. I'm just addressing your point, because I'm not saying the star did it. I'm saying that it would arc between the Earth and Mars. And so you're saying that, oh, it's more than the sun gives off, but it's not, though. It's just that the sun gives it off slowly over time instead of a huge discharge. That's my only point.
I don't even think that would be enough. If you could take a battery and just hold all the energy the sun gives off for a half a minute.
Half a minute of total solar. Like, are you
I
saying
was
how
just
much
shooting out
energy would be
crazy numbers.
collected in like a Dyson sphere around our sun in 1 minute? Is that what you're asking?
Hey,
Well, I
I
forget
just
that
shot out a
crazy.
silly number. My point, well, I mean, it may be instead of, over 30 seconds, maybe it's like 30 milliseconds worth. The point is, a one quick discharge is going to be significantly more than the sun is continually putting out. So it would still make sense.
I mean, more than the sun is continuing. I don't know how that would make it
Yeah,
make sense.
because the way that you're saying it, oh, it's significantly more than the sun puts out. Yeah, but the sun's continuously doing it. It's not just shooting
Yeah.
a single arc. So that's my point.
I don't
I
know
don't
how
know,
that's a
sir, but
point.
I think you're just trying to have fun arguing at this point, because
Oh
you've
no,
already said
I think the defeater for the electric universe is we see none of it.
we see
I
none of it.
Yeah.
and I say we
That's an
see all of it.
interesting argument. What do you think? What do you think electric universe theory indicates or claims? What do you think, sir?
Well, other than the lighting thing, that's like cool, the cool fireworks stuff, it's essentially a replacement for the theory of gravity.
Oh, you think it's a replacement? We just did this. It's not a replacement, nor does it deny the existence. What YouTube channel are you watching on this?
Oh, that wasn't a YouTube channel. That was the long, gangly white guy that kind of started it. That's what he was claiming when I looked at it.
If you mean Ben Davidson,
Let me look. Ben Davis.
the main proponent, the face of electric universe theorists, if that's who you're talking about, I think you half listened, because that's not what he's saying.
Ben Davison.
Oh, and by the way, he started working out and eating better, and he's not gangly anymore. Probably looks more like you.
I don't know, sir, but I think if you wanted to argue Richard's point, you should read whatever articles, scientific articles that he's offering, and then come back and say, well, if I was peer reviewing this, I would say blah, blah, blah. And then that way you'd have a good argument. But to say, well, these straw men, point out that your argument is nonsense. Well, that's because those people are on YouTube popularly arguing against the popular misconceptions, not addressing
I
what
never
the science
watched any of
actually
the YouTube
published.
stuff.
No, I'm just saying. I'm
Well,
not
you
accusing
just
you of
said
anything.
I have a feeling.
You just hold on
I
a
have a
second.
fe-
You just misquoted Ben Davidson saying that this is a defeater for gravity. He never said any such thing. And
I didn't say he
frankly,
said that.
he would. Oh, yes, you did. And he'd have
No,
to be
I
an
said that's
idiot.
basically the core claim.
No,
Yeah, he is an
it's
idiot.
not. It's not, and he's not an idiot.
He is.
Yeah. Okay. Lots of idiots with those kinds of credentials. Sure.
Well, what's the core claim then? What's the whole point of the electric universe?
Well, that it has explanatory power
What's
to
explaining?
explain what we. That's a long list of things I'd be happy to review with you, but not this moment. In the middle of my answer, that it has explanatory power, that it doesn't necessitate things that we don't observe at all ever on any scale, and would have the same effects as dark matter and dark energy, and is proposing that there must be some fourth fundamental force which is causing gravity, not a replacement, not a dismissal for gravity. They're not in denial of gravity or some ridiculous statement, which I didn't say
They
you
used
said.
to be, if they're not anymore.
They never were. None of them that are actually in that line of business ever were. Now you
Well,
can
they must
listen to
have been lying.
something and you can hear what you want to hear, and
I heard
that's
that.
a good explanation for you hearing it. But them actually espousing that never did happen. That there must be some fourth fundamental force that is causing the gravity, and that we don't need dark matter and dark energy to explain the things we see in reality.
Those. So what is it? What is it they're saying makes gravity?
Well, we haven't found a way to test for whatever is causing gravity, but you can look up any definition of gravity and it's going to be symptomatic. It's not an explanation of what's causing gravity.
Okay, how about this? Is gravity, in their view, electric?
No.
I could answer.
Their view,
Einstein would
everything
say
is electric.
yes, due to the
Everything is
equivalence
electric.
equation, that any mass is really just a fixed gravitational field, electric field, and that matter and energy are equivalent. So yes, energy distorts the fabric of space-time in a way that simulates an effect known as gravity, even though gravity itself doesn't exist, and so we probably won't ever find gravitons.
Okay, that's a different, not necessarily the same sense of energy as in electricity.
Right,
How's
but
it
that's
different?
just it. Richard pointed out earlier, and I buttressed in the side comments, that it's journalists who said they call it the electric universe. It was actually the energetic universe. And so, if you're just going to go off of what hack yellow journalists write, of course it's all going to look like nonsense because they intend to parody it. But if you go off of what the actual scientific papers by these highly acclaimed astrophysicists say, then maybe it does make sense. And I don't know what all they claim.
The guy's own project, the Thunderbolts project, calls it the electric universe.
Okay, but that because of marketing? Because that's what people have been calling it for 60 years?
Well, if it is, then it's not just hack journalists calling it that, is it?
No,
Well,
but
not
they
anymore.
named it that. No, my point, they named it that to begin with. It's just like when Richard said the Sapphire Project, but it's not actually spelled like the stone. So I think that they had some marketing guy that was writing the grant proposal, that was a science writer rather than a scientist, said, you know what, we'd probably be more likely to get funding if we called it something catchy, and the blah 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 doesn't roll off the tongue. So let's call it Sapphire. And so I think that's why people go ahead and call it electric universe, because if people say energetic universe, it's just not catchy, especially nowadays when people agree that, yeah, everything, even matter, is electric. energetic. Because even the term electric, like are protons and electrons actually charged, or is it just actually their spin? So we give names to things. Yes, it has a positive effect, but it's generated by spin, not because they're inherently positive or negatively charged. Same with quarks. If you have two up or two down, probably two up and one down, it gives you one polarity.
Okay,
But
so I'm going to take a direct quote from Thornhill.
okay.
Let's see here. The equivalence of inertia and gravitational mass strongly suggests that the force of gravity is a manifestation of the electric force. So yes, it is removing gravity. Gravity is no longer a force. It's just the electric force.
Yeah, and
I
I
think you're misunderstanding
paraphrased
his
Einstein.
assertion.
He seems to be agreeing with Einstein, who I paraphrased earlier, that the highly dense energy that we call matter distorts the fabric of space time, which simulates the effect of gravity, even though gravity itself doesn't exist, and that's why we'll probably never find gravitons.
I don't know how that crosses over from that to that, but okay.
Look. When we define gravity and we use gravity, we're talking about a set of symptoms. Are the symptoms dependable? Yes. Do we call that set gravity? Yes. Is gravity an explanation of the symptoms? No.
No, gravity is just what we call the force of that. I guess we currently define as the
Hello?
bending of space.
Hello, Midnight. Welcome back to your show.
Thank you. Yeah, I've been quiet, just listening, but I would like to read to you something, if I may.
Oh, please.
Okay. Let me go back up here. Explain the energetic universe and why it is wrong. The concept of the energetic universe is not a mainstream scientific theory, but rather a collection of ideas that attempt to explain the nature and origin of the universe. As such, there isn't a specific agreed upon definition of what the energetic universe is. However, the term is often associated with the idea that energy is a fundamental aspect of the universe's structure and evolution. Critics argue that the energetic universe concept is flawed for several reasons. One, lack of empirical evidence. The theory is largely speculative and lacks concrete evidence to support its claims. It often relies on alternative interpretations of existing data rather than presenting new evidence. Two, inconsistency with current cosmological models. The energetic universe concept contradicts well established cosmological theories such as the Big Bang and cosmic inflation, which are supported by a wealth of observation and data. Three, misunderstanding of energy conservation. Critics argue that proponents of the energetic universe misunderstand the principle of energy conservation in cosmology. In general relativity, energy conservation is a local law and it does not necessarily hold on cosmological scales. Four, misinterpretation of redshift.
I'm not going to
Some
be able to keep
versions.
track.
Can I finish reading, please?
It sounds like Gish Gallop to me. I mean, kick me, but it's a Gish Gallop.
Okay, well then I'm
Unless
done
you're going to
reading.
go back and read them one at a time.
Oh, he's saying that you're reading through it so quickly he can't address each point. But I'm following along, Midnight. This sounds good to me.
Well, I mean, I was gonna finish reading the entire thing. Like, are we gonna address all 6 points?
Since
Like,
as
five. There's
long as
5 points.
yeah, as long as you go through it and make each point after you're done, because like you read them so fast, I can't remember what they are. I just remember as you were reading them, all of what he was saying was making sense.
I apologize for interrupting, but if you just said you were going to do that in the first place, I would have never interrupted.
Just continue, Midnight.
Okay, 4. Misinterpretation of redshift. Some versions of the energetic universe theory reject the Doppler effect as the explanation for the redshift observed in distant galaxies, suggesting that the redshift is due to the loss of energy by photons as they travel through space. However, this interpretation is not supported by current observations and contradicts the well-established physics of light and energy. 5. Unnecessary complexity. The energetic universe theory introduces new concepts and mechanisms that are not required to explain the observed features of the universe. Occam's razor A principle in science and philosophy suggests that the simplest explanation consistent with the available evidence is often the best one. In this case, the Big Bang model and cosmic inflation provide a simpler and more consistent explanation for the universe's large-scale structure and evolution. In summary, the energetic universe concept is criticized for lacking empirical evidence, contradicting established cosmological argument theories, misunderstanding energy conservation, misinterpreting redshift, and introducing unnecessary complexity. These criticisms make it difficult for the energetic universe theory to gain widespread acceptance among the scientific community. I hope I read that slowly that time because I
It was
did try
always
to
slow
slow
enough
down.
for me. Oh, it was always slow enough to me, just too many topics. And then I realized when you get to about the fourth paragraph that this was fallacy of what is that? Sorry, hold on a second. A fallacy of authority, followed by another fallacy of authority, followed by another fallacy of authority, followed by an unbased assumption.
Yeah, number 5 is also an ad majorem fallacy. That's also wrong, as I typed inside chat.
Oh, you
Because
listed
he's
it. Cool.
I think it's only an ad majorem fallacy if it's based on authority opinion without evidence.
Well,
okay, but he's
then
saying
it's a consensus fallacy. It's a bandwagon fallacy. Then
okay. Sorry,
That's
I named it wrong.
Well, no, the whole point is that it's based on evidence, and that's why the
No, it's
bandwagon
not.
has
No,
it's
his
not.
claim.
opinion. It
No,
does.
no, number 5 was his claim was, oh, it adds things that the current model doesn't have, so therefore it's unnecessarily complex. Actually,
That's
energetic
Occam's razor.
theory, energetic theory is far more parsimonious than the standard model. So Occam's razor says that the standard model should be wrong.
That would be true. If someone wants to quote Occam's razor, they should have quoted it the other way around. Because, I mean, show me at what scale we see dark matter doing anything. Show me some dark matter that does something. Want to talk about complicated? Can't even find it.
Yeah, we can only show dark gravity. That's the only thing we can show.
But we can't explain it. So we're saying that the model is wrong. That's all that shows.
Yeah, there's something
So
that
and then we add unnecessary complexity to try to cover up our wrong understandings to begin with.
was
You know,
not unnecessary
energetic universe
complexity.
doesn't have
Where
that problem.
does
we see a gap, and then we try to find something that can explain the gap. It's not unnecessary complexity. It's actually a lack of complexity required to explain the observation.
Oh, you could come up. You're saying what you just said, Cerberus, is we could invent something more complex. I agree with you. And we have come up with theories that were more complex. That doesn't make it the simplest theory.
And it doesn't, and you misapplied what I said by unnecessary complexity. In the article, his argument is if you add to what we've already got, even though your theory is simpler, that makes it unnecessarily complex. And what I'm saying is if you go with a simpler theory, you don't need to add all these extra levels of complexity. They're only made necessary because the theories are wrong and have been shown to be wrong by observation.
I do have one quick question. Where does the Higgs boson fit in?
Fits in both worlds. The Higgs boson has no problem in either world.
See, the issue is it's not that what we know is wrong. It's that there's a lot of what we know is right, and we know there's something that we don't know yet.
Okay, you seem to be talking. Yeah, but that wasn't the point, though. You're going down a side issue. Do you agree that a simpler theory?
What you said.
Okay, but do you agree that a simpler theory isn't unnecessarily complex, but the more complex theory that we currently have is more complex?
I don't know if it's actually less complex to start with.
Okay, but everyone in the audience has heard my disagreement with his fifth comment, and that's the only one that I actually was like listening to make notes, so we can go through all the previous 4. But I think 5, he definitely shot himself in the foot.
I mean, if it doesn't replace gravity, it would be adding.
It's not trying to replace gravity. Stop quoting some YouTuber.
I quoted Thomas Thornhill. I just quoted it for you. I can go back and quote it again if you want me.
Okay.
What do you know? What do you know about the history of Thomas
Or-
Thornhill without looking it up?
I said Wall Thornhill. Sorry, maybe it's Thomas.
Well, I mean, I do have a question for you, Richard. Why do you assume Serb watches YouTube videos on it and not
Because
not
he's
read
misquoting the actual science.
and that could then forget it.
What science am I quoting from them? That's
And dude,
wrong?
I can take anybody out of context and take some piece that they said, even in a public statement, even in a public statement based off of notes or in a paper, I can still make them look stupid. I really respect Dr. Joshua Bowen, but I bet you I could take from his book, Slavery. I don't remember the whole title, Biblical Slavery. I bet I could take from something in there and make, in fact, I've heard Jill do this, come to think of it, and make assertions about a misunderstanding, trying to make Dr. Josh look like he doesn't know what he's talking about when he
Okay.
does.
But what context could possibly make the statement that gravity is just a manifestation of the electric force? Make it not that.
Well, first
Did
of all, you
I-
didn't read the sentence before, the sentence after, and it may just agree from what I've recently heard, as in today, with Einstein.
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't think it, because he's
So maybe
he's
you don't
conflating
understand
energy.
Einstein.
He's conflating energy with the electric force.
So you
Well,
don't like the
just
way
tell
that
me
he said
something.
it.
Well, one's a fundamental force, and one's energy. They're different things.
Okay.
Oh, Leo's here to help you out, sir. Maybe Leo would like to come in and talk. I'm poking the bear.
No, I mean, this is something me and Leo can agree on.
Oh, okay.
The
Well, according to Marx's
electromagnetic
theory of
force
gravity,
is not gravity.
I want to hear about Marx's theory of gravity.
It'll have something to do with labor and how people that work harder than
Oh,
Leo
God
does
damn it! Hold on,
shouldn't have
Batman
money.
is here. God damn it! I really hate how my mic was turned off. Batman is here, but I think Leo probably wants to come in to talk about this. So I think
Well, I would
Sammy.
happily drop out for either one.
No,
of those.
you're staying. You are staying because
Sammy.
you're talking about this. Sammy, I'm gonna have to sacrifice you, buddy.
Oh, okay. What? You don't sacrifice anyone.
Well, Ellie,
You don't
Ellie.
even know
Okay.
if Leo. You don't even know if Leo
Love
wants
you,
to come in and
Sammy.
argue about the electric.
Love
universe.
you all.
Well, you too, Sam.
Deed.
Like, don't try to get people in that haven't even tried to come in yet.
Okay, first of all, old
But
Dean
you
just
can
left.
sacrifice
So,
me.
well, old Dean left, so you're in the clear. Phil, I'm gonna smack myself. Starting to sound like Wildheart. Holy shit. Leo, the link is pinned if you want to come in. If you don't, Badback can go back in. It's up to you guys. But I do want yeah, I know you can have 6 minimum, but there's one
That's
spot
just
for
6
you.
maximum.
Well, right, but whatever. Don't confuse me.
Leo, Midnight really wants your penis. You should come in here and distract him.
Okay, Serb, you know damn well. Jesus Christ, that reminds me of walking into a joke. I'm walking into it, but here he is. Yeah. Hey, Leo. I didn't know whether you wanted to come in, and anyways, you're in here now. Discuss the electric universe because apparently that's God.
What?
It was a joke. Just go on. I'm in a weird mood tonight. Go on. Go discuss.
Go. What? Discuss what?
Let me translate for Midnight.
Ooh, this will be interesting.
There's an electric universe guy in here called Richard. Get him, Leo.
What
That's
am I
not
supposed
what
to be
I
getting?
was. Jesus Christ.
I mean, I haven't heard any claims made, so there's no material on the table, really.
Oh well, then I guess people can reiterate their claims.
I mean, I've the only thing that I heard was Serb say that somebody said gravity is like ultimately it's like the whole flat Earth thing that it's just all electrostatics, but then they can't ever show how. So I mean, anybody that wants to claim gravity is ultimately the result of electromagnetic forces of whatever sort.
Ooh.
It is the
Leo,
balls
can
and
you
bits.
refresh? You're roboting really badly, sir. Leo, you're
No, there's
roboting
nothing I
really
can.
bad, bro.
No, there's nothing I can do about that.
Okay, sorry.
It goes in and it
Wow.
goes out. There's literally nothing I can do.
Well, then please continue, and we'll just suffer with it.
So, for anybody that wants to claim that gravity is the result of any sort of electromagnetic forces, whatever they are, the onus is on them to show how. For me, show how a 10-kilogram mass from 1,000 meters up will fall. Show me the forces acting on it. Give me the equations of motion. And do not take anything from either Newtonian or Einsteinian gravity, aka general relativity. Good luck.
Well, I don't know if anyone can do that.
Because until that's done,
And certainly,
anybody claiming it has nothing to stand on. Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
well, it's absolutely not a claim I'm making, and I couldn't show that, and I don't even know half the words you used. So it's not me. I'm not your guy. But Cerberus was reading from a paper by. Now you said his name wrong, and I'm going to say it wrong when I used to know it. Crap.
Yeah, I've said like 3 first names. I can't remember the first name. I always say Thornhill, last name.
Yeah, I'm not sure that's right either now. Damn it.
I know how it's spelled. It's Thornhill.
Okay, well that would be Thornhill.
Yeah.
But I can't remember. I used to know as Wallace. I thought, yeah, they call him Wall Thornhill. That's correct, Pope Socks. Thank you. Okay, so I'm not sure that reading one sentence out of a speech or out of a paper is an accurate representation of context and what the man was trying to actually say. And for all I know, it could have been, I don't know, a Freudian slip or a mistake that he had to correct later. I mean, I just don't know what you just read.
Oh, I went to a Thunderbolts Project video.
Okay.
There's
a lot of those.
Yeah, it's called Gravity in the Electric Universe, and it's in the first few seconds, and it's a quote from Thornhill.
Okay, so Thornhill is giving a speech, a lecture, right? Is that what he's doing on that video? That's usually what he's doing.
No, this is I don't.
Is it a lecture?
No, it's someone else, I guess, involved in the project doing the talking.
So it's not Thornhill at all. So you were just completely wrong about who said it. Let's start there.
No, I'm completely right about who said it. It's a direct quote from Thornhill. It even says it's a quote from Thornhill. I'm going to assume his own project is not going to misquote
Well, you told
him.
me that Thornhill said it. And
Yes.
now you're
Why are we
telling me that
debating
someone
over
else...
what Thornhill said? Why is he relevant?
Because
Well, I
he's
mean,
not
other
being
than
very,
being like the primary proponent of the electric universe.
because Leo, he's not being very careful.
I mean, that's what a
Who,
quote
Thornhill?
is.
Of course not.
No, Cerberus is not being very careful.
Oh, well, him too, but Thornhill isn't either.
What am I being
I'm not arguing with
uncareful-
Thornhill.
What am I being uncareful about?
Well, first you told me it was Thornhill. Now you're telling me it's a quote from Thornhill by someone else.
That's what a quote of someone talking is what they said. Yes.
Do you have some reason to trust that person?
Other than the fact that it's his own project that's making the video and quoting him.
I understand that. But no,
that
you
gives me zero
What
reason
is this
about it.
quote and why is it being needed?
I brought up the quote because I made the claim that the electric universe is the theory is replacing gravity, as in like the bending of space. And I gave the quote where Thornhill says, the equivalence of inertia and gravitational mass strongly suggests that the force of gravity is just a manifestation of the electric force. Meaning it's completely gone, and we're just talking about the electric force.
Yeah,
I don't know. I think you're straw manning him at best.
Well, I'm just
Well, the
quoting.
guy does believe in the electric universe. I mean, he's like its main proponent, so clearly he believes this. And he's
did you just
clearly
commit a
wrong.
genetic fallacy, Leophilius? I am shocked.
Nope, I did not. And I don't think that you could show how I did either.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's correct.
Where did you say he was from?
Well, I didn't. He's from Australia, but I don't see how that's
not what I
relevant.
meant. No, what group is he from?
What?
What
I don't
group
know.
is
What do you
Thornhill
mean by
from?
group? What do you
You
mean by
just said
group?
he was from some group. What was the group you said?
I don't think I said that.
You said he's I'll quote you directly. He is a
I
proponent.
said he was a
of-
proponent of the electric
of-
universe, which he is, which is a
which
fact.
group. Which is a group.
I
and
said
then
nothing
you
about it
use
being a
that
group, so then
to-
that's just
to
irrelevant to
assert
what
he
it
is
is
wrong.
I specifically said.
But
I didn't
you-
say that he was wrong because he
Yes, you did.
is part of the electric. No, I didn't. You're trying to
did.
attribute a fallacy where I didn't actually commit one. Now, let me explain why you're wrong
why'd you bring
in
him
making
up?
that assumption. Because he's a proponent of the electric universe, and you guys were already talking about him, so I'm not actually the one who brought him up. You'll notice I was the one
Why'd
that
you
asked
bring up that
questions
he was not
about
not
why
di-
he was
Why'd
being
you
talked
bring
about.
him up? I didn't mean why did you bring him up? Why'd you bring up that he is part of electric universe theory in your statement?
Because he is. That's just a fact about him. That's why I brought it up. You're talking about a
And
guy,
no one knew
and
that.
I stated a fact about him, which doesn't matter regardless of whether anybody else knew it or not.
Well, that's about Thimble Deep.
So I never
And-
argued that he was wrong because of where he comes from or anything along those lines.
No, that
So
is what you were
there's nothing
suggesting. I
even-
don't know why you're
no,
backing down now.
no, it's not. Well, I'm
You're
not
backing
backing
down
down
'cause you got
He's
called out on
wrong,
the
but I
fallacy.
never gave
That's
a
why you're
reason.
backing
Okay,
down.
He's
okay,
wrong.
okay.
I
Wait
said
a
he's
second.
wrong, but I never said that he
Okay.
was wrong in virtue
No,
of where he
no,
comes
you're just
from,
fundamentally
that he was
dishonest.
wrong in
You-
virtue of
Point of moderation.
Well, it's not
the
Everyone
first
calm
time I've
down.
seen you do
was
this.
wrong.
You're
Point.
fundamentally dishonest. It's not the first time I've seen you do this.
So you
Thank
don't
God
actually
that's
have a
a
response to
puppet.
anything.
Leo,
You're
you
just going
did
to
it-
charge dishonesty, but you don't actually have a
No,
response to
he
anything that I've
might
said.
he might have
Oh,
read
I
the.
did give my response.
Wait, guys. Richard might have read the idea of him being wrong from what you implied, but Leo, you did imply something.
Mm-hmm.
No, I
You
didn't.
mentioned that.
No, I didn't.
You're so. No, go ahead.
Okay.
Back out. Pedal
Okay.
backward. Faster,
This is-
faster.
This is what I'll do. You guys can argue, and I'll go back in the stream, and we'll see the implication that you actually said.
But I didn't
Continue
imply
on it.
anything. You don't get
That's
to
fine.
decide
That's fine.
whether my
No,
words
no, the
imply something
videotape
or
will.
not.
Don't worry about me. I'm just going to go.
No,
look.
the only thing that can verify it is me. Whether I implied something or not depends on my intentions.
You go
don't-
ahead and keep on
You
playing this
don't.
thing.
You don't get to decide what my intentions are.
You're embarrassing
See,
yourself. Leo.
this is what it looks
I'm
like
not talking
when
about
people
intentions, I'm talking about the
try
words you
to
stated.
attribute dishonesty to you, and when there is no dishonesty there.
You're very dishonest.
They
You've been
misrepresent
dishonest
what
with me
you
a lot.
said. They claim that you said things or that you implied or that you insinuated something that you didn't. They
Would you
just
like
didn't
me to
understand what
rephrase
you were
it more
saying.
palatably? Okay, let's rephrase what their claim to your statement seemed to make an implication to the audience, your intended receivers.
After
And they're
all,
wrong
all of
about
us
that.
knew who we were talking about, what group they're associated to, and so did you.
What? Actually, I don't think I did. I think I initially asked who you were talking about.
No.
And then
By
once
the
you said,
time,
"Oh, you're
don't try
Thornhill,"
that.
I was like, "Oh, okay." I'm
No,
not
you
trying
were-
anything.
You were.
I did not
quoting.
know. I came into the fucking middle of a stream and you're acting like I knew what you were talking about before I got here. Are you fucking kidding me right now?
Are you telling me that you made comments not knowing what you're talking about?
I asked questions.
Because that's what you just said. You said you made
didn't
that
say- I
comment
didn't
not
say
knowing
that.
what you're talking about. I'm willing to
I didn't
agree on
say that.
that.
And see, this is another tactic
Dude,
of trying to
genius
attribute dishonesty
idiot.
to people who aren't being dishonest. Is completely just uncharitably interpreting what they're saying.
No, it's what you said. And we were already
What
talking
did I
about
say?
Thornhill.
What was what I said?
already
What was what I
described-
said? What was what I
we
said?
already described.
What
where
was what I said?
You just over
So
talking.
you
is not
so you
enough.
can't
Leo,
tell
hold
me
on.
what it
Point
is
of
that I
order.
said.
Okay, Leo.
I'm
Richard,
trying
let
to.
Leo
You
finish.
keep over talking.
Okay, well, I'm stepping in for a sec. Let Leo finish, and then you respond, Richard.
Well, there's nothing to finish. I was just asking him a question. He claims I said something. What is it that you're claiming I said?
Is that the end of the question?
Clearly.
Okay. Now I heard you say, "What do you say I said?" Is that what you said?
Yeah.
So there's no freaking need to repeat it, right?
Yeah, but all you did was repeat the question I just asked you about what
Now,
it is
can
that
I
I said.
answer
You
it,
didn't
which I
tell
was
me,
trying to
but you
do the
didn't
first
tell me,
5 times
but
you
you
over
didn't
talked me,
tell
what
me
you're
what it
doing
is that I
now?
said.
Can I
I don't even know why
answer
we're
you
talking
without
about
you?
this instead of the subject.
He's over
Probably
talking
because we
again.
couldn't handle ourselves on the subject.
Leo, let Richard answer or give what he's saying. One of each. Go ahead.
Okay, so you did come in cold to the conversation. That's a fact of matter.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't
I
know and you
acknowledge
did
that.
inquire. You didn't know and you did inquire what we were talking about. Cerberus Hex gave you a briefing. You started commenting on your opinions on what information he had given you, including the name of the person and the associates that they keep, being Electric
I
Universe.
didn't name any associates that they keep. I don't know
You
what you're
said
talking about.
Wall Thornhill, who is of
Yeah.
Electric.
I said who is the main proponent of it, both of which are facts. Wall
No, he's
Thornhill
not.
is a
Ben
person who
Davidson
exists.
is.
Wall Thornhill is he's also a main proponent. Yeah, there can be more
Oh,
than
a
one.
main.
There doesn't have
No
to be
longer
just
the
one.
main.
And I would actually consider Wall Thornhill probably a more well-known name within that sphere than the other guy.
To you personally, that's fine. It's not true
Because I
in
mean,
reality, but it's fine.
well, it's not true to you, but
Are you
Wall
serious?
Thornhill is like the big name in that sphere. And there are other big names.
No.
It's like Flat Earth.
No.
There are big names in
It's-
Flat Earth, but one of
Why
the
are you bringing
biggest
up
is
Flat
probably
Earth?
going to be Jeranism. I'm making an analogy. Do you not know how analogies work?
I know how analogies work, but I also know dishonesty when I see it. So you can't have made a comment uninformed. You were informed when you made the comment. You added information that was already established in order to make a point. What was the point?
What was what point?
That he is a proponent of, oh my God, do I have to quote? Do you remember what you said?
I remember what I said, yeah. You're not being very
You
specific about what I said and when
You
and
said
where.
Wall Thornhill, comma, who is a proponent of Electric Universe, comma. Did you not?
Yeah, I said that Wall Thornhill is a proponent of the electric universe. This is a fact. Why are you disputing this statement? Or what are you even debating
Don't even
here?
try it, bro. Don't even try it. Mr. Red Herring,
I don't know what you're
don't even
talking
try
about.
yet another.
So how am I
fallacy.
committing a red herring? You're accusing me of committing a fallacy. Can you explain what
You're
the
trying to do
fallacy
a
is?
distraction
Can you explain?
by
Can you
misquoting
explain?
my
Can you
point.
explain? Can you explain what the fallacy is and how I committed it?
Yes, absolutely, I can. Because you
So what is a
mentioned
red herring?
information. Are you going to talk over me while I answer you?
Leo, let the man finish,
But
please.
he's not
for the love of
actually answering me
Christ.
because
You're
I
making
didn't just
yourself
ask how
pretty
did I
damn-
commit it. I asked
looking
what
pretty
is
bad,
the fallacy
Leo, let him
and how
talk.
did I commit
Damn.
it.
Ain't looking very sexy for you, bro. You should
I
stop.
mean, you can keep making these little attributions, but that doesn't mean anything. It just means that there's no real substance to whatever you're objecting. I don't even
Every
know what
time
you're
I try to
objecting
answer, you talk over me, so I stop. Is that what you want me to do or not?
You know, I'd rather have you than Quentin here, so don't tempt me to bring Quentin in. Just saying.
I mean, at the end of the day, I don't care. I'm just trying to figure out what the objection is. Is he objecting to me having said that Wall Thornhill is a proponent of?
Let him give you his objection without you interrupting.
But he hasn't yet. He hasn't yet, which is why I keep interrupting.
Yeah, that's the
I
whole
haven't had a
point. He
chance.
keeps trying to, and you just overtalk.
And you haven't
Yeah,
not
but when
interrupted.
he keeps trying to, he's not actually giving me what his objection
Can
is.
you
He's
shut
going off
this
about
fool
something
up
else.
so I can answer him?
Leo, sorry to do
Turn
this.
his volume all the way down and mute this piece of crap so I can answer him. Okay, there was no point in pointing out
Here
what
come
we
the
had already
insult.
established. What we had, you're being a piece of crap. I don't care what you say.
When the argument
Will you please mute this?
insults
Put this
become
guy
the
back
He
in
is.
so I
He's
can
muting
answer
him,
him.
and he's
Yeah,
not
you know
even
what?
involved.
You know what? Go ahead, Rachel. I just removed him
Okay,
from
now I
stage.
will directly answer his original question, what my objection was, and where the red herring was, why he was committing a fallacy, and I'll tell you all that. Easy. He mentioned Thornhill's association again to bring up what? That we didn't know? We all knew. Cerberus told him. He must have known that we know it was the topic of conversation. The only reason to bring that up, at least perceptively by the audience, is to make fun of the total position in an attempt to discredit Wall Thornhill. Then, when I was trying to point that out, which we all know was an attempt at poisoning the well. Excuse me. He asked me to report something different than I hadn't even said, which was a red herring. There you go.
There you go. Now
None
you
of that
can
is-
respond.
None of that is true. I brought up Walt Thornhill and shared my opinions on him. What I said is that Walt Thornhill is a proponent of the electric universe, and the electric universe is wrong, and he's wrong. I never made fun of anything. I never insulted the guy. All I did was make the claim that he's a proponent of some idea, and both the idea and thereby him are wrong. That's all I did. I didn't poison any well. He can't show how, and I didn't commit a red herring, and he didn't show how.
Okay, Leo, was that so hard to let him finish?
And I still
Well,
don't know
maybe
what it is
apparently-
and I still don't know what he's objecting to. Like, what is the objection here? That I said that Walt Thornhill is a proponent of the electric universe? So you're
There
saying
you go.
that's not
There's the
true?
red herring again.
That's not a red herring.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not. Explain to
Why-
me what a red herring is.
Since
Just tell me
since
what the
I
fallacy
never
is.
said that, and you're only using it. As
I
a
never said that you
distraction
said
method,
it. So how is it a red herring?
Then why'd you ask me of it as if I'd said it?
Asked you what?
Why didn't
You
I
want me to
go into
repeat what
Sammy's
you
account?
just said less than 30 seconds ago? Really?
So then what is your objection?
I don't have any objections. Never mind the whole
Okay,
thing.
that's what I thought.
Leo, what?
No, all it is that he got mad that I said Walt Thornhill is wrong because
Nope.
he probably thinks he's right. Like that's
I
clearly
disagree
what
with
happened
much
here.
with what Walt Thornhill says. I disagree with Walt Thornhill all the time.
I disagree with people I largely agree with too. So pointing out that you disagree with
I'm not
somebody
white
is not a
knighting for
refutation
him.
of the claim. I didn't say you were.
No, you only suggested it. You didn't use. The
How did I
term.
suggest it?
Oh my god! Really?
Richard, just let it go, man. Just let
I'm
it
No,
go.
telling
I'm
you,
asking
man,
those
that's a-
questions because he's just making bold assertions that clearly aren't true.
Okay.
I never said that.
Can we-
I never insinuated
put
it.
it- oh.
You're claiming that about what I said because you're misinterpreting my words in order to paint me as dishonest, which is itself dishonest.
No, I don't have to paint you as dishonest.
Well, that's what you've been doing this whole time.
We
so,
can just
I mean,
review
you're
tape
doing
and see
it.
that you're dishonest.
No, you can't.
And
Because
we can
I'm not
review tape
dishonest.
several times. How about this for a proud man who can't admit when he's wrong? When a straight male starts telling a trans woman that he knows more about the situation of being trans than that trans woman, is that just a proud guy who can't back down? Is that what that sounds like?
I would just call that condescension. But I don't know what that has to do with anything.
I'm
Unless
talking
it's
about the
just
conversation
a
between
bare
you and Stephanie
analogy.
where you did exactly that.
When did I do that?
What do you want me to have a date ready? You did
No,
it.
I want
It's
you
on
to. I
tape.
want you to explain. I did what? I
You
told her
did
that I
it.
know
It's
more
on
about being
tape.
trans. I told her I know more about being trans than she does.
It's not a direct word for word quote. It was the idea of it. That was the overarching.
Wait,
Yeah,
idea.
I never did that. I've never
Yes,
done
you
that.
did.
No, I
Yes,
didn't.
you did.
Okay, pull up the clip.
I
Don't
will
worry, I'll
find
wait.
it.
Don't worry, I'll wait.
Okay,
I'll wait
when
an
was
hour if
this
I have
to
to.
whom?
You keep talking about waiting, but you keep talking.
Yeah, I can keep talking. You don't like it? Fucking leave.
I think the audience can find it for themselves. I'm not going to go look it up for you because you were
Yeah,
there.
because you don't have it because I never did that. Not once.
Well,
Fine.
I'm.
You're probably referring to where I disagreed with Stephanie on the word community because I was using it in a different way than she was, which was later
Oh,
clarified.
Stephanie.
So I've never once told, whether directly or indirectly, to Stephanie or anybody else who is
Look,
anything
ever
I'm
since you got here, we've got nowhere in
more
this
that
conversation.
I know more about being that thing that I'm not than they do, which they are. I've never done that. And neither you nor anybody else, I would bet millions of dollars on this, literally, will ever find a clip of me
You don't
doing
have
that.
millions of dollars to bet.
You don't know
Yeah,
that.
well,
You
Oh,
literally
we do
don't
know
know that.
that.
We do know that.
How?
I'm so Leo. I have to call you out now. There's no
If you
way
got
you have
millions of dollars, how are you on
I'm,
public
I'm
benefits?
sorry. Exactly.
Midnight. Explain to me how you know that I don't have $1 million.
Because you have said that you get government funding, you get government benefits.
I don't get government.
That's how we
funding.
know that.
I don't get
Yes, you
government
have.
benefits, and I've
Benefits.
never said that.
Public. Yes,
You-
you have
you've
public
never said that.
benefits.
I've never said that.
Do you? Would you say right now
Nope.
that you don't?
Yeah, of course I
And
don't.
have never.
I don't get any. The only thing that I get is the only thing I'm on is Medicaid. That's
Leo,
it.
if you are, well,
You get
that's-
Medicaid.
Yeah, I'm on
You get
Medicaid.
Medicaid,
You don't
and you
get
just said
Medicaid.
you don't
you're
get
on
any
Medicaid.
government benefits.
Yeah, that's. I mean, is that really a
And
government
you just said
benefit?
those two sentences back to back, and you're not laughing
Why would I be laughing?
because it's literally impossible. You must be joking.
See now what we're doing is we're trying to attack my character. Oh, but you get government benefits.
No, you're
So this
being
is just
dishonest in
attacking the
real
character.
hey,
time.
I
and
get
it's
No, I'm
government
not.
obvious.
benefits.
What am I
not-
being
not-
dishonest about? I haven't
Okay,
been
hold on.
dishonest.
Whether
I
or
get-
not you're a
this whole time.
millionaire.
You just
Leo.
have no fucking clue about
Hold
me
on.
or anything. And you
This is
don't
my-
know that I have $1 million. You might say that it's very improbable, but
This is my stream.
so I can't
okay?
finish my sentences now?
Well, you
By
shouldn't
all
talk over
means,
the host.
Proceed, Leo. I was trying to say,
Hold on, I'm done now.
I'm also.
Okay, so if someone has $1 million at any point, unless they're lying to their government, they're not getting any government benefits.
That's not true.
So it's one or the other. You're either
That's not
lying
true.
then or
Somebody-
you're lying now.
That's not true. Somebody with some sort of disability who's on like government benefits could get them even if they came into some money. So that's not true. Not here in the US. Nope.
Okay, that only applies if you're on SSDI, which is
It doesn't matter when
disability.
it applies. The fact
Well,
that
no,
it applies
that-
at all
I'm
is
talking.
a reputation.
Okay, I am talking right now. Okay, SSI and SSDI are two fucking different things. SSI is, you know,
I understand that.
based on.
I know that well.
Okay, never mind then. No, Leo,
You
you're
at least
something else.
respect the
Okay,
host.
you're
Sorry.
you're something else. You have no respect
know
for
that.
anybody, not even the fucking host. Like I'm trying to say something and you interrupt me. Like what the fuck, man?
Yeah. Why?
We haven't talked. You know what? I'm done with you. Fuck off.
Well, now maybe the conversation moved forward, but I really need a cigarette.
Oh.
That's
I
just
thought-
frustrating.
I put the quote
Hey,
in the comments. I think
fucking
the important
disrespect me on my own goddamn stream. Fuck off.
I think the important part is that he had an ellipses at the end of his first sentence, which said let people imply that Leo's implying that something's wrong because of what was stated.
Green Silk, go fuck yourself. Okay, not in the mood.
So what was Leo claiming right before I came in? Something about, you know, well, millionaires still get SSI. Is that what it was?
Basically, yes.
Well, he would be on SSDI anyway, because I don't think he's ever made enough wages to qualify for 30 quarters or whatever it is. And if he did come into money after previously having accepted government benefits, he can say on or whatever other he wanted. But no, he does receive public benefits, so he does get them. It's not on them. Anyway, but if you have previously received government benefits, you have signed a statement, which is a contract, stating that they can do something called clawback, which means that they will take whatever money that you get, not just the total sum of benefits that you receive, but then they add on a certain percentage. And
Okay,
I want to say it's a
Leo.
very stiff percentage.
Well, sorry, Henry.
That's like
Leo, you can come back on. You can come back on to defend yourself, but please control yourself, because you want to accuse me of cowardice or whatever. You can come back. Just don't be you. That's all I ask. Don't be you. Like,
Oh, he says he's justified in talking over you.
well, then go fuck yourself.
I don't
Like, I'm
think that's what he
trying.
was referring to. I think he was referring to, yeah, I will come back in and I'm justified in doing so. Just
Well,
Well, I would
like,
like him to mean that, but I don't think
Well-
that is what he means.
well, Carl, I hate to do this, but you have to go into Shadow Realm for a bit. There, you're back.
Way to talk yourself out of the room.
I never said I was justified in interrupting Midnight Sparkles. Not once did I make that claim. See, here we go
Okay.
again. People saying things
Okay.
that I didn't say
Okay.
because they're
now you've
trying
made
to be
your statement. You
uncharitable.
made your
Because
statement
this
of
is
denial.
trying to associate
Can we
dishonesty
mute
with
him?
somebody.
Okay,
Can we
look,
mute
But
him?
so
it was,
he wants to
it was,
mute me when
He's
I'm
not
dead in
even
the middle
wanting
of a
to
sentence.
listen.
So
it
like
wasn't
this is just
real.
fucking
It
hilarious.
was a misunderstanding. Okay, just defend yourself with the whole money situation, because that's the issue here. You say, how do you know I don't have $1 million and still be on disability? Okay, if you have $1 million, good for you.
Well, I'm not on disability, number one.
Well, whatever the
I
fuck
never
you're
have
on, I don't
been.
give a shit.
I'm not on anything except Medicaid. That's the point.
You're still getting, but that's still getting government assistance. I mean, is it not, or am I
Okay.
crazy?
I mean, if you're getting
How
your
do you make
tax,
the money?
if you're getting your tax returns, that's a government benefit. I mean, how abstract do we want to get with this?
Okay, Marks.
Part of me missed you. The other part wants to kill you.
I mean, I'm not upset with you at all, Midnight. I'm really not at all. I don't think you've done anything wrong. I don't really think anybody's done anything wrong. I think they've just been purposefully dishonest, very uncharitable. And I think that I'm justified in being condescending and interruptive, being rude to people who themselves are being rude. And you know this about me. I'm not going to treat you like you're an equal when you're trying purposefully to bring me down. And why
Don't
would
worry, I
I do
don't think
that?
anyone here considers you an equal.
I'm
Well, of
also
course
not a
not.
projector
I'm better than all of you except Midnight.
This isn't a movie theater, Leo. You stop projecting now.
What?
Thank you.
I don't know what that has to do with anything.
You don't need to know. It's okay.
Like, notice it's all just like subtle character attacks and ways of
No,
smearing
I
and
mean,
negating
subtle.
somebody. And
Wait,
there's
wait,
no
wait, wait.
real
So,
like
I want it to be obvious.
opposition argument being presented, and there is no real topic even being discussed. They're just
Wait,
talking
I
about
didn't.
me.
Wait, I didn't insult you yet, and then you said I was less
I
than
didn't
you.
say that you did. But you actually have insulted me because you don't get to decide whether somebody's
return.
insulted
I
by.
did in return.
You don't get to decide whether somebody's insulted by what you say.
So.
Oh,
I mean,
God damn it, I'm trying to blank. Will, I'm a character. I'm a fucking goddamn. What's the word? Jesus, really? I'm a fucking protagonist, buddy. Like, I'm not just a character. I'm a protagonist.
Well, see, the problem with that is literally everyone in the world is a protagonist, is a main character of their own story. So
exactly.
I'm better than everyone except for Midnight. All these people are just trying to character assassinate me.
I don't know. I honestly, hold on, I honestly don't know whether Leo means that genuinely or he's sucking up to me.
No, I was being sarcastic. I mean, I think you're a great person, clearly. I don't think anybody else in here is a bad person, but I think that they can be a little dishonest with people that they don't like.
God,
but I mean, so can I.
Theater.
I'm human.
It's not a movie theater. Oh God, this is
nobody's watching movies in here, so.
But you're projecting though.
No, I'm not.
Sammy, since you're not really saying much, I'm gonna swap you off for a little bit for Ginger. You'll still be here.
Brother.
You'll still be here. They're not gonna kick you out. Just into the shadow realm you go. There you go. I really, next time I'm gonna stream, I really should go to Sammy's account. I don't know what the fuck I was thinking.
Yo, fuck you, Leo. You ain't better than me, bitch. Just kidding. Hi.
No, Daddy, I'm not.
That's what I thought. Good
Wait,
boy.
Was there anyone claiming that you could have a ton of money and still be on SSI?
I never made that claim.
Well, I thought
what happened?
Leo said that he could have $1 million and still be on SSI or something.
Hold on, the original
Medicaid.
I said that people could have lots of money and still get government benefits, like rich people.
Oh, okay. You're making another Marxist claim.
That's not a Marxist claim.
Well, of course, you're saying that paying taxes is actually benefiting you because the government's
not
providing
just me.
that you wouldn't pay for yourself.
It's benefiting tens, probably hundreds of millions of Americans.
Oh, no, but the argument you're making is that it's a benefit to you to pay the taxes.
Doubting Thomas, can you link that clip in the chat so we can watch it and I can show how you're wrong?
Yes, please, Doubting Thomas, do
Now,
because
now, whenever someone wants to point out where your claim is wrong, you just talk over them. So why should
I
he
don't.
post the link? Well, you did in this stream several times. You did to me. You did to
Hey, you
Richard.
just
Yeah,
did
I
that now.
overtalked a
What
lot of people,
Hillary's
but I
assaulting?
didn't do
I
it
know.
because I was wrong. I did it because you're being rude, so I'm going to be rude right back to you. Suck it
I
up.
mean, you overtalked me while I was talking to Richard.
I sure did. I'll do it again.
And I didn't interrupt
Okay.
you.
So he's doing it because he's both wrong and rude. Got it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
he's
you have to
using his
keep telling yourself
autism.
that.
Like generally, Leo's always rude to me before I start picking on him, and for some reason he just doesn't see it. Maybe it's the autism.
Well, no. He's look. Let's be honest here, sir. He's rude to you because Okay, what's the
It's
thing
because
like?
you're a douchebag. That's why he's
It's
rude to
because
you.
I like human rights. That's really the reason.
Well, yeah,
Right.
that I think that, and the theory of labor is bad. I can't think of
It's a theory of prices.
It's
Yeah,
just something
that's
like
Yeah.
that.
Sir, anybody being rude to you, you shouldn't be surprised. It's you. Come on.
Yeah.
Now I know I'm 5 minutes ago, and I can tend to get stuck on a topic. But if I said person A is associated to group A, and group A is wrong, therefore person A is wrong, is that not a genetic fallacy?
No. Witsit Gets It is a part of the Flat Earth group, and the Flat Earth group is wrong about the claim they make. So it would just follow that Witsit, if he makes that same claim, which is in virtue of what he's a part of the group, then he would be wrong on that claim. Yes.
Right. Just like you being a part of the flat Earth community, if Witsa Gets It was to quote you, he would be wrong because he was quoting you.
I'm not wrong though. 'Cause I don't think the
Exactly.
Earth is flat,
So
and I can
it was
successfully
poisoning
argue
the
against it.
well,
How?
and it was a genetic fallacy.
I mean, I put the
Well,
direct
I just
quote
explained how
in
it
the
wasn't
chat.
a genetic fallacy, so I don't think you understand that fallacy.
Actually, what you said was Walt Thornhill agrees with everything that every proponent of electric universe theory says, and
I never
that's
said
why
that.
he's wrong. That is what you said.
No, it's not.
I
I
gave
never
the
said Walt
direct
Thornhill
quote.
agrees with every claim that could be associated to people who believe the electric universe. I never
Okay,
said
Well,
that.
let's narrow it
I'll
down.
just read it.
What
I'll just read it.
is it? What is it that Thornhill doesn't agree with in other proponents?
I have no idea. I don't know what the other
That's
proponents
right.
believe.
You
I'm
have
not
no
them. I don't talk to
idea.
them. Is Walt
That's
Thornhill
correct.
wrong on the electric universe like everyone else who believes in it is? Of course. So, like, I'm not making an claim here. You're just nitpicking it for I genuinely don't know why at all.
Because you do this every time you come on anyone's show.
No, I don't.
Every time I've seen you, you have.
Yeah, every time you've seen me, I don't care about your
Also,
anecdotal
every
evidence
time
and
I've
your
seen you.
interpretation of it. I just don't care.
Yeah, and
Well, it
none
is
of us care
biased.
about what you think, Leo. No
There's
one
probably a
said,
lot of
Richard
people that
didn't
don't care
say
about
he
what I
cares
think.
about
I
what
don't
you
care.
think. So your argument that you don't care doesn't matter because we didn't ask what you think. He stated an observable
You
fact.
didn't. I'm going to share what I think anyway. That's what I'm here for. If you don't like it, you are free to leave.
Oh boy.
I prefer just to,
Oh,
I prefer just to annoy you.
I'm most
Yeah.
afraid to kick you, Leo. Like you're driving away my panelists. Like it's like if you don't like it, you are free to
Sucks to be
leave.
them. I don't mind being around people I don't like. I see that they clearly don't.
Yeah, he's in a relationship with me. What the fuck do you expect?
Well, here,
You know,
let's have some
really,
fun. Let's have
seriously, Leo, before you read that, sir, Leo, seriously, this is almost reminding me of the Christian persecution complex, where you get to claim people were unfair to you because you were rude.
I don't know what
Well
you're
said.
talking about.
I wasn't going to read it, Richard. I was going to say let's
I
just
think
have some
everyone
fun
else
and,
knows
and
what I'm
play
talking about.
and play a game, right? Leo, what did Marx think socialism was? Go.
What did Karl Marx think socialism was?
Yeah.
A means of democratic. Okay, just give me a second here. Oh man. A means of democratic control over the means of production through collective ownership of the means of production by the working class.
That's a mouthful.
Oh yeah. Where
Leo's got a hell
would
of a lot in
this
his mouth.
where would this quote come from, Leo?
I didn't give a quote.
Like, where would the quote be that would lead you to believe this?
That's just outlined in his work. You just have to read
that's what I'm
Marx.
asking for.
It's like to asking about Hume on causation, and then I like give like a summary of his views, and you ask, well, where's the quote where he says this? There isn't one quote. He expounds on this
Yeah, a bunch.
through
I know.
multiple chapters of multiple different texts. This is how ideas are built. It's not just a quote, and that's the idea. I'm sorry, but I genuinely don't really get what you're asking me here. Are you asking
Well,
like
I
where
can
can
ask
find?
it a different way. I'll ask
Yes,
a different
please.
way of what I'm trying to get at. What did Marx think the difference was between socialism and communism?
Largely things like having some sort of centralized state, things like I just lost the concept, not commodification, currency, the lack of currency, because in a socialist system, I mean, even technically commodification, because there's variations of socialism that could work within a market framework where you have things like currency and commodification, but communism would be completely absent those, as well as the notion of a centralized state apparatus, where that could also technically be present within a socialist economy,
Okay,
alongside a socialist economy, I should say.
So a country could be socialist if they had a market and there was still some free trade going on and money and people privately owned things.
I'm sorry, can I get you to repeat that?
So you could still have a socialist state in which there's like a free market and there's money and commodifications and people privately own things.
What do you mean by free market?
Prices weren't directly set by a centralized authority.
Yeah, I think so. I think cooperativism would be a version of that.
Okay, how are the Nazis not socialist?
Because they didn't do cooperativism
Well, you
at
don't
all.
think synchronization.
In
You don't
fact,
think
many businesses
synchronization is
were
cooperation.
many businesses were deregulated, nor did they change the fundamental mode of production under which the German economy operated, which was capitalist at the time.
Yeah, but what do you think synchronization was?
I don't know. That I could. You would have to specify the context.
Well, in basically World War II era Germany, Nazi Germany.
I don't know. I don't know what they would have meant by synchronization.
Okay, what
I
they
need
meant
you
by
to explain it to
synchronization,
me.
it was a policy of gathering up all the businesses, putting them into a handful of corporations, and the Nazi Party, who controlled the government, owning those corporations.
Yeah, that wouldn't be socialism. That would be some form of statism.
Well, no, it's the party that owns it.
Yeah, the party is a political entity, correct?
Yeah.
Which controls the centralized state apparatus, or is the centralized state apparatus, which owns the at least part of the economy, or owns partly the economy. That's statism, yeah.
No, it doesn't. The government didn't own anything.
Well, but the Nazi Party was the government. There was only one party, the Nazi Party.
No,
That was
there
the
were,
centralized
no,
state.
there were people other
No,
than
actually,
the
I
Nazis
think there
in the
were
government.
other parties, but I think that they just didn't mean anything.
No, they did stuff. The Nazis had to actually fight to get laws passed, believe it or not.
Well, up until the Enabling Act, at which point Hitler effectively became a not a full-on dictator, but certainly had authoritarian control over the country at that point.
Yeah, so in communism, there'd be no state, right? Is that what you said?
Yeah, there's no centralized state apparatus. That's correct.
Okay. So would you be surprised to know that in the Communist Manifesto, Karl Marx said the only difference between socialism and communism was that communism wanted to abolish the private ownership of property. He called it the abolishment of bourgeois property. But
yep, he did.
That's what Nothing in there about not having a state.
That's fine. The Communist Manifesto isn't like the be-all, end-all of what communism and socialism are. In fact, it's in the name. It's just a manifesto. You realize that, right?
He's specific. I mean, throughout the whole book, he's very specifically detailing exactly what communism is in comparison
for the
to
most
what all
part.
the other, in comparison to what all the other socialisms were.
Yeah, because his socialism is different from the forms of utopian socialisms that existed prior to the quote-unquote scientific socialism, as it was dubbed by Proudhon, that Marx and Engels developed. Yes. And
Yeah,
then
and even
Engels also wrote a work on that called Socialism, Utopian, and Scientific, where he juxtaposes the two and explains why scientific socialism of Marx and himself is superior to the utopian notions of socialism.
yeah,
Which is
he
why
even-
when people refer to, just one more point here, which is
All right.
why when people refer to Marx or Marxism or socialism as utopian, I just laugh. It shows they don't understand what Marx wrote down.
I
I'm
think
not
when
saying
they
that
say-
you said that or anything. I just want to clarify.
I know, but I think when other people say utopian, they mean it in a different sense than the socialist meant utopian.
I kind of see it as being the same sort of thing.
But I'm sure you've read it, so I'm sure you're aware that he includes German National Socialism, basically the version of socialism that would become Nazis, in his list of what was socialist.
Yeah, I'm not surprised by that.
All right.
German socialism was something different in the 1800s than it was in the 1930s. Ideas can be hijacked and changed and all sorts of things. Just another thing the Nazis hijacked was
Really, do you know that,
their
or are you
symbol.
saying that?
Did I know what?
Do you know that their policies are drastically different, or are you just saying they're different?
No, they're different. I mean, the Nazis weren't in any sense socialists, like at all. And that's not what National Socialism meant. And I'm pretty sure, I might be wrong here, but I'm pretty sure that Hitler himself even explained that the National Socialism of his party is very different than the socialism of the Marxian socialists or communists that the Nazi party targeted. They targeted Marxian socialists and communists.
Well, it'd be targeting Marxist communists.
Yeah, if he was such a socialist as Marx understood socialism, why did he target Marxian socialists?
Well, he specifically targeted Marxian socialists because he thought it was a Jewish conspiracy.
That was attributed to it, yeah.
Yeah, that's
Why,
the reason.
Why did he attribute the Jews to Marxism specifically?
Well, I mean, Marx was a Jew. Just to start with,
Was Marx a Jew?
That's kind of.
I'm not saying you're wrong, but let me look that up.
Yeah, he wasn't a practicing Jew, but he was Jewish.
So you mean he was Semitic?
Yeah. Well, I mean, the Semitic from Europe.
Because when I use the word Semitic, to me that just means ethnically Jewish.
Yeah.
Yep, he was a Jew from a predominantly Catholic city.
I think it was his. I think his parents converted, if I remember correctly. That's the story.
Did they convert, I'm assuming, to Catholicism?
Yeah, I think that's it.
Well, you learn something new every day.
Anyway, I think Marx would accept the representation of the people controlling the means of production as a socialist state.
I mean, yeah, I think that if the working class of the people had democratic control over the means of production, that's what socialism is.
Well, this would be a republic.
What do you mean by this?
Nazi Germany.
I would not consider Nazi Germany a republic.
I mean,
I would
that's
not
fine.
have
They're-
considered.
They were literally representations of the people in government. But
I'm going to stick with like every historian and say that Nazi Germany was a fascist dictatorship. It was not a republic.
no, not like every historian, like a handful of historians.
Like most of them, the vast majority of them.
No, not even close to the vast. Not even close.
Yes,
to
it is.
Dictatorship, sure. Fascism, no. There's a handful of them.
This is very interesting.
It's funny because Nazism is a form of fascism,
According to a handful of people. Yeah.
according to
I'm
the
curious
standard in,
if you guys,
amongst the experts.
if you guys don't mind, I'm kind of curious. Why is it you guys are being so cordial to each other? Like, Leo,
He's
why are
being
you
cordial to
so-
me. He's
People were
not
being
insulting me.
cordial to
He's
you
not
when you
trying to paint me as dishonest. He's not nitpicking at what I said to try to. I don't even know what. He's asking questions and he's engaging with the substance. And yeah, it's funny how when you like have a good discussion with somebody, you get a good discussion with somebody.
No, everyone granted you a good discussion at first till you started over talking people,
Okay.
actually.
If that's your perspective, that's fine. You're free to believe that.
I don't think I'm in the minority here.
That's fine.
I mean, I can be more combative, Richard.
Well, I don't want more combative. I like a good conversation. It's been a really good. I've been enjoying listening to this and learning things
You
I've
know-
never heard before.
I mean, I recorded a clip of Leo giving a definition of left wing that basically included everyone.
I'm sure.
You know, if there's one thing I've learned about Serb for all these years is that like he knows how to temper himself he knows how to temper himself. Is basically what I'm saying. He can go harder if he wants to, but he's choosing, to be.
I'm choosing
Wow,
hugs
I
over
second
violence.
Yeah, there you go. A second explaining shit.
I'm just curious how it is that Cerberus won Leo's respect.
Who says Leo respects Serb?
Oh, I see it.
I do.
see it.
Oh, well, okay, fair enough.
Didn't say they agree, but Leo does have some certain amount of respect for Cerberus. It's obvious in their conversation.
And he has respect for me because I'm daddy.
I have respect for Richard as well. You'll notice that all I did in our exchange is really interrupt him. I never insulted him.
You're right. I was unfair.
Hey, emotions always get high in these discussions, especially if it's topics. There's topics we hold dear.
What's it?
Do I hear somebody snoring?
Yes, that's you. That was
I'm
a joke.
not snoring.
No, I just got done doing a line of coke. I'm sorry. I'm just kidding.
Oh, I thought you were being serious. I was going to say, hell yeah, brother.
Hillary might have fell asleep.
No, I haven't.
Q,
I haven't done coke in like 3 years.
Q does have
I've
a
never
large
done
family that's normally overheard by his mic, which is why he mutes when he's not speaking.
You know what? Nobody's snoring over here. People are watching TV and playing Baldur's Gate.
Did you just hit your bong?
Yes, probably.
That
No,
was a
Hey,
big
Hillary, are you still here?
okay, so I'm just gonna say this, Midnight. Can you stop assuming that I'm smoking weed all the fucking time? Because that gets really fucking old, really quick.
Dude, are you smoking
I
weed?
kind of
I
did the same
don't
thing. I'm sorry.
think I assumed you smoked weed.
You're literally just said
Somebody-
yeah, probably. Whenever I was going to say nah, I was hitting my vape.
That was Leo.
Yeah, that was me that said, "Are you hitting your bong?" But I'm sorry.
Right, and then fucking Midnight followed up with yes, probably, like they always do when it comes to someone asking me about weed, and it gets really annoying. Like I am sober a lot of the time. Just pointing that out there.
Okay, well, clearly you can't take a joke.
He's attacking you for what Leo said, Midnight. Come on.
Exactly. I'm just saying this shit gets old. Like people assume that because I smoke weed, I'm high all the fucking time when I'm not. Like I haven't been high in a couple days.
You
Okay,
defended yourself. You did a good job of it.
Okay, but be fair. Be fair. They think that only because that's so very common of people that smoke weed on the internet.
Yeah,
True.
it is.
It just gets annoying.
Well, I know one way to stop it. Stop smoking weed at all, and then you won't have to worry about it.
Smoke
Or-
weed every
Or at
day.
least stop admitting it on screen.
That would help. So you guys done with the Marks conversation? I did interrupt you. I apologize, but I was just curious.
Nothing wrong with curiosity.
Yeah, do you got questions, Richard?
I don't know any. I'm sitting here listening to you guys quote things I've never heard in my life.
Because
I have
like
no idea.
this is a fairly decent opportunity. We're both relatively educated on the topic, and
Oh,
we
you
don't
missed
agree
the
on all
part
of
where
it.
I don't care.
Oh, Okay,
Sorry.
my bad.
So Richard doesn't care about Marxism. Okay, well I learned something new today.
Well, I mean, most people don't, and at the end of the day, I don't blame them.
I mean, for me personally, not that I'm the person that matters here or whatever, but for me personally, I think all of it is absolutely contrived by people probably smarter than me in order to manipulate the masses into doing what governance wants them to do.
It's funny
You
because
just
Marx
described
talks about
religion.
that. It's funny because Marx talks about that and says, "I can't believe they're doing this. We should like abolish governments."
Boy, I just became a Marxist by that one statement. That was amazing.
Well, no.
Jesus.
No, I'm saying I agreed with the statement.
Oh no,
I
Richard's a pinko commie.
Leo, if you think I was saying that you're accusing me of being a Marxist, I was saying no such thing. What I was saying was, wow, I really agree with that.
Yeah, so
Yeah, I
did
think
me.
once people really read and understand Marxism, they're kind of like, "Hey, this is pretty based."
I don't know what that
Yeah,
word
there's like huge
Freebase.
overlap with
Freebase,
like
maybe.
anarcho-capitalism.
What does word based mean the way it's being used today?
He means
It means
based
it's
in
good. It
reality.
means it's like
Really cool,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
well-founded,
figure it out.
based.
Okay. How is there how is there overlap with anarcho capitalism?
Well, if you includes Marxism to include like different forms of socialism where you still have bourgeois property, anarcho-capitalism literally is just like destroying all like a ton of socially constructed hierarchies.
I never really got that vibe from it.
Except class.
Well, that's the anarcho part. Anarcho-capitalism just the only social
Hey.
hierarchy that exists are voluntary ones. That's kind of the whole thing.
Except class.
I don't know if that counts as a social hierarchy in this case.
Yep, it does.
Now, if the whole point is only voluntary association, then the only way to be underneath someone directly is to accept it.
Yeah.
Yeah, which would make the only class to exist entirely voluntary.
Except class isn't voluntary. You don't choose which class you are a part of.
Well, it sounds like Marx is saying it's the abolition of classes because they're irrelevant. So you can call yourself a member of a class, but
Well,
it's really irrelevant.
It's the abolition of like economic
Class structure.
Hmm.
Well, that's what class is. It's like your economic hierarchy.
Right, but
Yeah,
if everything's voluntary, then there is no hierarchy.
He doesn't include things like
You
class
can
of
still have
intellectuals.
voluntary hierarchies. That can be a thing.
The only problem with abolishment of all of governments that I see is that we do need centralized communication. So in that way, at least we do need hierarchy. And of course, there's problems like infrastructure, things like that. But the problem is we don't have a benevolent leader. Not that we have leaders. That's not the problem.
Well, when people say abolition of government, like at what level? Because isn't like fascism is based on trade guilds and work unions. So I would think under the socialist paradigm, they would have to have some sort of employee governance, like the Soviets. That was the whole purpose of the Soviet Union, is it was based on the Soviets.
The whole structure comes out of syndicalism.
Right.
Right. So you could have the people in charge of individual syndicates, but not necessarily in charge of the government.
Well, but wouldn't the individual syndicates be the government, is my question.
Not necessarily. It wasn't that way in Italy. But yeah, it could be like that.
Okay.
I could have turned out that way in Italy if they didn't fall apart. I mean,
Right.
most of these forms of government didn't really get tried because they were destroyed in a war. Generally, though, I think it's a good policy not to essentially worship the state. That's probably a terrible idea.
That's what Skull and Bones does from Yale, and that comes from the Hegelian, I believe, the worship of the state over the individual.
Yeah.
Very bad.
This is one of the main reasons why, Nazism isn't fascist. But
Right. Well, it's socialist. It's right there in the name.
it's also like fascism's nationalism is essentially just a country that you can become a citizen of, right? Anyone could become an Italian, as far as the Italian fascists were concerned. But on the other hand, Nazism, or nationalism, was by blood, and you couldn't just become one.
Wouldn't that really limit the number of people in the armed forces?
Yeah, I mean, they had a relatively expansive definition of German blood, right? It included Germanic peoples, not just German citizens, right? Yeah, I mean, in overall it would compared to everyone else. Let's see other differences. Like the Nazis didn't want private citizens owning capital property, where the Italians were okay with it as long as it was under heavy regulation.
Now, when you say capital property, what do you mean? Do you mean personal property? Do you mean real estate? Do you mean?
I mean very specifically the kind of property like machines that make products or other machines.
Right. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. The Italians were okay with it as long as it was under the umbrella of a syndicate that could heavily regulate whatever was going on. They didn't call them syndicates; they called them fascies, but they're literally the same thing. Oh, Nazis hated Jews. A huge part of fascist Italy, or the fascist party in Italy, were Jewish until Hitler basically threatened Stalin. And then Stalin then purged all the Jews out of the fascist party. So being anti-Semitic isn't inherent to fascism. It isn't in any of the literature either, being anti-Semitic. Yeah, because Jews can become Italian. Ah. They both hated the communists, though. They had that in common.
All communists or just international communism?
International.
Okay.
But I don't know if anyone was really walking around calling themselves a national communist.
Was the Parisian Commune part of the Comintern?
No.
Okay.
I mean, I've been going through all the bad people books, right? And those were not them. I haven't got around to them. I'm on Mosley right now.
So on a conversation that's not about Marxism, I've cut my fucking caffeine intake down, and I feel a hell of a lot better.
Hmm. Hey, how much of it were you getting?
Okay, 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 good, 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 bien, bien, good, 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 okay, 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 okay.
That's just how I felt during the entire conversation because I didn't know what the
Okay,
fuck was
well,
going
that
on.
was funny. Also, I'm so sorry, Sam. There is no room for you. Bye. Anyways, continue with
For
questions.
you asked me how much caffeine I was taking in a daily.
Yeah.
At one point I was like drinking almost 3 monsters a day. So now I'm
Yeah,
down
that's
to
no bueno.
Well, that's okay. That's probably why you feel better.
like maybe how much fucking shit's in this? Caffeine.
Because like the max amount that's considered like
150
reasonably healthy.
milligrams.
Yeah, that's half. That's like half your
It's
maximum amount.
1,500 milligrams of caffeine is before it's dangerous for you.
Dangerous, yes, but unhealthy starts at 300.
I believe it. I believe it. But I was mostly so like what happened was I replaced smoking cigarettes
Where's
with
back? Oh
caffeine.
yeah. I was gonna ask where's that background noise, but I just remembered. Oh yeah, it's
I
Ginger.
was watching Toy Story 2, I think.
Yeah, I just reread the wiki article on the Paris Commune, and it does seem that they were more of a regional communist group, and that they were more isolationist.
Okay, what year were they? What year? Let's think.
2 months, two months during 1871.
1971. Oh, okay. So the commune. I mean, this would that have been before they would have even started using terms like communism for them?
They called themselves communards.
Yeah, that's what I'm about to say. We're in not necessarily pre-Marx, but pre-Marx becoming the guy.
Apparently, they were feminist, socialist, communist, and old-style social democrat, a mix of Marxist and anarchist.
That explains why they didn't live that, or they probably didn't survive that long.
Yeah.
It's really hard to pick every ideology that basically means you're going to be outcompeted on everything.
Hitler was also a meth head.
Yeah.
Dude,
That's kind
have
of
you seen the
boring,
video of him at the 1936 Olympics? And this motherfucker
Yeah,
is just
no, like
he
everyone
is straight rolling.
So if the people that have kept up with me know I was addicted to meth like over a year ago, and like people like trying to legitimately argue with me about him not doing fucking uppers or like meth or cocaine. I'm like, dude, he's literally fucking tweaking at the Olympics. You can see it. Oh, that's just ADHD. No, motherfucker, that's tweak behavior. I know what that is.
Yep.
but he literally wrote about how great it was. Like when people think he wasn't doing it, he did it. He did it every day. That is probably one of the best moments in like world history. Hitler's up there tweaking out of his mind, and his master race is being beat by a bunch of black people.
Do you think like he went to the bathroom when like there was like a break in between the Olympics and did like 2 fucking lines and then started yelling at his fucking people competing? He's like, "You motherfuckers!" Yeah, he's like yelling at
Just
you.
imagine him screaming in German, just fucking coked out of his mind. Oh my god. That would be funny to see.
I think
Isn't
the
it true
closest
that
thing
if
I
we put
ever
that in perspective, that cocaine use, also, oh my gosh, what opioids? Like this was like over the counter stuff back then, yeah.
I'm not sure about cocaine, but I mean, yeah, a lot of opioids and stuff were that aren't today.
I mean, they literally put cocaine in Coca-Cola back then.
Well,
before
they put coca leaf
that.
extract in Coca-Cola. They didn't put literal cocaine in Coca-Cola.
Well, it wasn't as
That would've been-
refined, granted.
Well, I mean, it wasn't refined at all. It was coca leaf extract, and the coca leaf is what you get cocaine from through a complex process. But you can just have straight natural coca leaf extract too, which will give you energy. And
Yes.
I'm pretty sure that's what Coca-Cola was initially intended to be, was this sort of like newfangled energy drink. It'll give you, you'll be up and getting done what you need to get done, and you drink one of these. So.
And then the world came up with Four Loko, which was an alcoholic energy drink before they took out the energy drink.
It was supposed to be an elixir. Yes.
Elixir.
So the closest thing I ever got to seeing like some like Hitler tweaking out and screaming at himself was when I went to the fucking zoo in Columbus, Ohio. I saw a dude hugging a fucking trash can, screaming at it that he loved it, but she was a slut. I'm not even kidding. That's actually what word for word what he said. And then the guy sitting next to him on the fucking bus bench was just like, "Dude, please help me." And I'm like laughing outside the fucking window.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, you're right, Hillary. I shouldn't assume that, scientist saying this banging a her. It could be a he. Either way, stretch before you stretch them out, brother. It's always what you got to do. I need to start giving like BDSM fucking sex advice. I swear to God, I could make some money on that shit.
You good at it?
I mean, I've had no complaints in the last fucking few years. I've been involved in that kind of thing.
If you're good at something, never do it for free.
That's why I used to get paid to bowl when I was in Las Vegas.
Like bowling bowl?
Yeah, like being a bull, like 100%.
Wait, what? I'm confused.
Okay, he means being a bull in a cuck relationship.
Yep.
And a cup relate. What the fuck are you
CUCK.
talking about?
Oh, Christ. Someone else explain it. I'm too tired.
So what a bull is, right, is when someone wants to be cucked, they go to somebody else to get them to fuck their significant other in front of them.
So a bull is somebody who watches somebody fuck their SO.
No, a bull is somebody that fucks the person's SO. The cuck is the person watching.
Oh, okay, I got you now. That makes sense. All
Is
right.
there a purpose? Oh! It's like you.
I've heard that.
No,
a few
that's
times.
just the autism.
Look,
Well, it
man,
was
I'm
good
autistic
timing.
too, but my autism is. We should have an autism battle one day, Leo. Just me and you.
What
See
does
who
that
wins.
even mean?
I'll have to explain it
Is
to
that
you
where
later.
we do
'cause I
what
don't
they
want
did
to-
on South Park, where we just like squeeze our
Yes.
foreheads and go?
I'd be
at
down for
each
that.
other? Do it in public, and everybody's just looking at us like, "What? No, we got to get midnight running in. Everybody back up! They're having an autism battle."
You cannot defeat my style.
Oh, you think you can block me, right?
Fucking hell, man. Yeah, my latest fucking hyperfixation has been Helldivers too, so I haven't really been doing anything else besides that, working on my book and going outside. Feels like.
Writing a book, huh? That's good.
I mean, it's not gonna be groundbreakingly fucking amazing. It's just
Well, you never know.
Is the book fiction or non-fiction?
It's fiction. Only thing I ever write. But what I can give you is the name. It's called The Folly of Man.
Ooh, not bad.
Took some inspiration from a couple different religious stories, and I was like, fuck it, what happens if a stoner writes a story about people trying to convince a god not to fucking wipe out a universe? And then I started writing it.
That's an interesting storyline. I kind of like that.
Well, see, what happened was it was originally a D&D campaign, and then like all of my friends didn't want to play it because we had another D&D game going on that at the same time. So I was like, fuck it. If I can't run it, I might as well write it. Anyway, sorry to interrupt the smart people talk.
Huh?
I said sorry to interrupt the smart people talk.
No, I heard you. I just don't know why you said that.
Oh no, I feel like ever since I started talking, the conversation died.
Well, that happens to conversations. Sometimes they just die. Sometimes we
Take
kill
it
them,
out back
just like
and take it out back
beat
and
the
yell
fuck
at that
out of them.
motherfucker.
Have people checking posters.
Speaking of conversations, I actually just recently had a conversation with somebody about how funny it is to watch somebody fucking go absolutely ape shit with rage when it comes to playing fucking like Dark Souls or whatever. But like you see them in a fucking setting like McDonald's or Walmart getting cussed out by a fucking employee, and they're just a customer, and they're just smiling like, yeah, I understand.
What are you listening to in the background?
So my nephew watches Toy Story when he wants to go to sleep because he's a baby.
Ah.
So it's Toy Story, I think 2,
Okay.
if I'm not mistaken. And then my buddy is playing Baldur's Gate 3.
There's going to be a Toy Story 5, by the way. So prepare yourself for
Yeah,
that.
and I'm not supporting it. They should have stopped at fucking 4.
They should have stopped at 3, but at least 4
I
Edson
was
were
gonna
having
say
the
the same thing.
At least
Should've
4
just
Edson were
stopped
having
at
the Bo
3.
Peep, so you know.
The reason I liked 4 is because of Key and Peele's part. That's pretty much it. That was the only reason I liked it, because I thought it was funny that they were playing stuffed animals.
Oh shit.
Sir, Sam wants to ask you a question. I don't fucking know what any of it means, but how investments into capital intensive ventures would work on a socialist system. I don't know what the fuck that is, but I don't know what that means.
That would depend on the socialist system, and you would have to name the socialist system, because it is a super broad term that encompasses things that are not compatible.
You know what I've noticed, real quick, is that all of the people I talk to online are like hardcore into fucking science and like politics, and then there's my goofy ass. It's just like, hey guys, did you watch the new fucking episode of Fallout?
Yeah, what's wrong with that?
I feel like I contribute very little to any conversation that I'm a part of.
I don't think so. I mean, sometimes I think some of the best conversations come from people who don't, maybe understand the subject at the same level as you do, because then that's where you get the interesting questions that really make you think about the subject.
And by the way, I just want to apologize for blowing up about the weed thing. The reason it bugs me is because, like I said earlier, I was a meth addict, and like if someone was like, "Oh, you're still probably doing meth," I'd be just as pissed off as somebody was assuming I was smoking weed. It feels the same way to me.
Mm-hmm.
I would work in a non-market system.
Non-market system. Okay, explain that to me. Like what all of that means.
Oh, he doesn't. So I'm assuming what he's getting at is drug development, like in modern day, right? It's this massive undertaking that requires a ton of investment, a ton of organization and logistics, right? And the way we build that currently is with a free market, right? And I'm assuming he means a non-free market, not necessarily a non-market. Because I mean, socialist system, I think every system that calls itself socialist in history still has money. There's probably hypothetical ones that don't, and they had markets. They just didn't necessarily have free markets. I don't know if you'd be able to do I don't know if you would be able to get the complete width and depth of the drug development we have now in a non-free market. It would be really hard.
Okay, that makes a little bit more sense.
I imagine you could muster at least some of it, though.
Okay, so when you guys were talking about it, sorry to bring it back up, but like I genuinely don't fucking get what this is. What the fuck is you said something electric theory or some shit like that? It's like I heard half of it.
Please don't bring it up
universe
again.
theory.
I just want to know what it is.
Electric universe theory is a pseudoscientific theory that posits that like pretty much all forces are just electricity and magnetism, and everything is just electricity and magnetism, and like
Look,
gravity
here's
isn't
what I
actually
find.
a
Listen,
thing and
I'll
all
be
that.
honest with you. I'm kind of retarded.
Let me give my take on it.
you want to play? Well, go ahead. Sorry.
Earth farts out lightning bolts. Therefore, there's a Grand Canyon on Mars.
So the fucking Earth is a wizard casting lightning bolt, basically. Lightning bolt and only lightning bolt, no fireball. Anyway, sorry to bring it up. I was reading it on fucking Google, and what I read didn't make sense to me, so I was just like, that doesn't seem legitimate. So I thought I would ask.
Yeah, that's usually what pseudoscience does. That's usually how you can detect it.
Everything I do is electric, yes. Anyway, I am Leo Filius's lawyer. If you have any questions for him, you can go through me. You know, trying to stop YouTube World War III.
Okay, I'm assuming VC's venture capital funding. So I mean, I know Leo's going to disagree with this, but the way the Nazis did their socialist economy was synchronization. Individuals could essentially buy stock. They weren't voting stock shares, right? You didn't get any control over anything, but rich people existed and individuals existed, and they could buy stock to fund a corporation. Kind of fills the same void. I mean, it wouldn't be to the same extent. It would be really hard to be to the same extent.
Why doesn't Sam come in? Like, I would love to fucking, actually hear this conversation between two people instead of like a text. No, like not to sound like an asshole. Like, I don't want to sound like one, but
Like, I mean, the kind of cynicalism that was under fascist Italy, you still basically had a free market. So I guess I don't know, that wouldn't be the requirement of a non-market or a non-free market, but that would be a kind of socialism that could still have venture capital. It would just be venture capital from syndicates.
okay, that makes a bit more sense, Odin, like a little bit.
There isn't a good one-for-one, because there isn't really a way in either of these systems for a private single person to own capital mechanisms, like capital machinery.
I'm just gonna put this out there. Like, Woody's kind of a bitch.
He's kind of whingy, isn't he?
Like, he's the most flip-flop fucking person, like, character I've ever seen in a fucking movie. Like, oh, I guess I have to go to Japan because I don't want you to go to fucking storage. Oh, wait, hey, you should come with me because my buddy just convinced me that going to Japan is really stupid because he called me a toy. Like, fucking hell, man. Grow some balls and fucking do what you want to do.
Woody's kind of whingy, fucking nonce.
I think the only fucking time he's ever made his own decision was when in the end of 4, right? Whenever he's like, hey, I'm gonna stay and get some puss.
Oh, did he
I haven't
finally
seen
hook up with
4,
Bo
so I
Peep?
don't.
I think so. Well, it's not
Yes,
official, but it's
yes,
implied.
the Toy Story 4. He finally hooked up with both people in the sense that he left the toys to be with her, because apparently,
'Cause he's a fucking simp.
yeah, because
Thanks for
apparently in
spoiling it, Midnight.
you're welcome.
Oh, Leo, like you haven't watched it 20 times.
Because I
I
like
haven't seen Toy Story 4 actually.
Oh well,
That was
then
the
I
point of
actually
the
am
whole
sorry about
spoilers
that.
joke. No, dude, you're fine. I don't plan on watching Toy Story
Okay.
4 anytime.
I feel like I've actually been thinking about this, and I don't know why I've been thinking about this, but there's like an idea that I want to break down like different characters from different like shows and show their character flaws and like how they've either made up for it or it just progressively got fucking worse. But the one that I want to start with, kind of like everybody's done to death, so I can't.
Who says you can't? Like I said, I
My mind, because it doesn't make sense to do something that's been done to death.
well,
You can do it better.
you clearly haven't been hanging out in this community much, because people have
Yeah.
done to death a lot of shit. It doesn't matter. Do it.
You're right. I
We've
don't
been
hang around this
repeating
community.
stuff the
I'm very picky about who I watch and who I don't.
Mm.
Not the point I was making, but okay.
Hey, Serb.
Mhm.
At some point, I'm gonna see. Like, would you be interested in being a guest star on that fucking thing that I'm doing? Love to get your takes on some people.
Maybe on characters, you mean?
Yeah.
Sure, if I can work it in.
That'd be dope.
I don't.
I'm trying like what I'm trying to do is like I put myself in a box where I'm just playing fucking video games and I want to break out of that and do things I want to do and get people I like involved. But like the last week and a half, my brain's just gone, nah, nobody's gonna want to do that shit. So fuck it. And then I started writing a script. Because I don't know, man, I can't do a video if it's not scripted for some reason. I'm just standing there fucking staring at the screen like you know what I mean? So like I figured, fuck it, I'll write a script. And like, as soon as I got done writing it, I went on YouTube and I'm like, all right, there's no way anybody fucking did this, right? And so the first video I find, it literally lists every goddamn point that I had written down. And I'm like, you motherfucker. God damn it.
In the same order?
In the same order.
Like,
Seriously?
Yeah, I'm not even kidding.
Hey,
It's
well,
about Light
it's been a
Yagami.
while.
Becoming good at YouTube, it's a cross section between having nothing to do and having no talent. Right, you have to be comfortable with being a terrible person and not being able to achieve anything. Right,
By the
which
way-
means you need to be able to stare at your screen and just say stuff that doesn't matter and is incorrect if you're talking about anything substantial.
Also
By the
needs to be
way-
highly polarizing.
Well, no, I
And
just want to say there have been so many people who have done character studies on Light Yagami. I lost count. So if that's what you want to do it. The worst that can happen, nobody watches. That's the worst thing that can happen. Or you get hate comments. But
Yeah, I
I
mean,
don't
you
know.
might get a whole parade
So
of people telling you to delete yourself.
Well, I mean, I do that to myself on a daily basis, so I don't think that's going to affect me. And the whole
Jesus.
people not watching me, I'm kind of already used to that. So yeah. it's
Sorry,
not really
Sam. Yeah, I can't let
big
you
game.
win.
I mean, if you want to swap me out for Sam, then like
No,
Okay.
Sam, me, not Sam. I
Oh.
kicked him out twice.
Oh shit! Actually, it's a 11:15. I need to go. So you'd have to
All
keep
right.
getting
Yeah,
That's
I'm gonna
actually
go too,
fine.
just because I've got little of my evening left, and I'd like to do some.
Well,
other
Sammy
things.
just left anyway, but thanks for stopping by, both of you. This
hey
has
Leo,
been
make sure you
interesting.
spank it to me, you dirty bitch.
For sure.
I did
Sir,
wanna
I'll
say-
hit. Go ahead.
What? Oh, I'm about to say, my band's EP is almost done,
Hmm.
so that might be out pretty soon. I think we're
Hey,
just
yo,
giving
hit
it
me
away
up.
for free.
Hit me up when it's done. I'll actually like get you guys in on something because I'm trying to like I actually made a new channel and it's all about music and that's it. And I'd love to promote it.
What does EP stand for again?
Extended play.
Fair
Yep.
enough. Yeah, that's
It's a thing between a single and an album.
Ah, well.
Just like isn't LP long play? I always get that fucked up, but I know it's or long project. I can't remember. But anyway, yeah, hit me up when it's out.
Okay. Boy.
But
Will, you're okay. Who created the fucking AI Will? Because he's dead. Like I saw him die. Like who is this?
Oh yeah, sure. I'm trying
the
to
way-
find the charger. is
By
what
the
I'm
way, I
doing.
still feel really bad about that fucking stream, dude.
Yeah,
so-
you're a retard. That's nothing new.
Okay,
It's not
what
even-
did he do? Did he say the N word? Did he expose
No,
himself?
it's not
What's
even
going on?
that. It's not even
No,
that. It's
he
a
just
lot of
hard
people.
doxed me with Cat because he's a fucking dickhead.
I accidentally doxed him, and then a lot of people got mad at me because I said that Will was dead.
Oh yeah, there was that too. Yeah, that I wasn't mad about. That was funny.
Just the doxing part wasn't funny.
No, the doxing part was still funny. It's just you doxed me.
Well, I feel like in my defense, it's kind of Kat's fault because she sent me two fucking pictures that looked the exact same, and it had the exact same fucking file name on it. So I was like, fuck it, click, put it in there.
In my defense, the Tran made me do it.
Well, the Tran made the trans person do it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Where the fuck is the other earbud? There was a case here. Oh, God. This is my new studio for the moment until the actual one that's on the side of this wall is finished.
Why not both?
I don't know. Maybe we'll see. God.
This stream sponsored by Pussy.
Coffee brand coffee. I didn't bring it down with me though.
Oh yeah,
my God.
I still need to buy $30 worth.
Hey, so am I allowed to talk about the thing that you told me on Facebook?
About Vaughn?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Wait,
Do you want this live?
No, I
About
guess
Vaughn.
Vaughn's suing me or something. Vaughn Helton.
And I
Or
wanna-
that's what somebody else said. I don't know.
And I want to make it a fucking true crime podcast. Fucking Will Kincaid versus Vaughn Helton. It's gonna be beautiful.
Hell yeah.
Of course, you're gonna be involved. I want you in the podcast. It's your lawsuit.
Hell yeah.
Wait, what?
No,
Okay,
I
now
don't even
feel
know.
like
So apparently, Vaughn, in all his infinite fucking grand wizard wisdom, is deciding to sue Will, even though Will hasn't even talked about fucking Kincaid in like almost 2 years. It feels like.
Yeah, I honestly can't say when the last time I talked about him or even referenced him was.
I think the last time.
Unless he thinks that my my Gandalf face filter is actually him.
Huh.
That was the
Okay.
best thing that I could come up with.
Speaking
low
of which,
suits are always really fucking stupid and gay.
when the fuck are we gonna get more fucking Skyrim AI fucking faggot?
You know, you're not the first person even today who's asked me about that. I'm going to California in 2 days, and then when I'm back, I will probably resume that.
Are you going to be filming a scene?
Yeah.
God damn it, Hillary's. You are a thirsty bitch, aren't you?
I am.
Dude,
I'm still looking for that
I
scene
just
that you
sent
wrote
you.
before.
I just sent you like 5 scenes, Hillary. Jesus Christ.
Oh man.
Will, I started making. I'm starting to make AI fucking emo music.
Oh yeah.
Oh god, dude, it's so good. I got Carl Weezer singing "Wake Me Up When September Ends."
I gotta hear that one. That sounds amazing.
When I have the money to finish it, I'm sending it to you first because I immediately fucking thought of you. I was like, dude, I have to finish this.
This might be my library, actually. I think now that somebody said, I can't remember which ones.
AI is getting out of hand.
Now that I think about it, this would actually be a good place to put my library and then have my studio in the next room, so I can minimize the amount of shit.
Also, when are we getting the next Cooking with Will Kincaid video? We got applesauce, but we need more. We need more than just applesauce, man.
Well, I'm going out to visit Biscuit Man. It might be sooner than you think.
Just make sure you use freshly farmed cat this time.
Yeah.
Mm.
My wife is coming with me. It's very exciting. Not taking Micro Man with me because it is like 8 hours of flying plus 3 hours of driving. So
Plus, isn't putting a baby on a plane like fucked up, like for them or some shit? Like it can cause medical issues or something.
probably, I don't know. What do you think I am? A good father? What the fuck?
How many
Yes.
times have you dropped him? That's what I want to know.
Oh.
Or thrown him on the ground by accident.
I
God
haven't,
damn.
but when he was little, I was lifting him up like this, and there was like an archway between. This is really bad. There's like an archway between the living room and the dining room, and it's much lower than the ceiling, and I fucking bopped it right at the fucking.
That actually
That
happens a lot.
kid's gonna have brain damage now. Nice going, Will.
He was like, because I went to go. It's the only way without looking to tell if your kid has a smelly ass is to like get up there and kind of examine the situation.
Mhm.
So that's what I was doing. I only had the kid for like 6 weeks. It's no instruction manual. Just fucking, fuck off.
I'm gonna make a deep cut here, but has the Antichrist come into his powers yet, or is that still developing?
That was canon. I don't know if it's still canon, but that's a callback. Jesus, that's an
It's
old
still
callback.
canon. It's still
it's
canon.
canon.
We're
Oh,
not
God.
gonna talk about who we stole that from, but it's definitely canon.
I don't even reckon he's watching. He kind of just moved on with his life, and good for him.
I'm proud of him.
Good thing for that. He's like, yeah, fuck this. I had to raise my daughter.
My daughter.
Speaking
the
of
fuck
people
is
that
my-
fucked off, what happened to Germania, bro? Did he die or some shit?
No, he
he
decided to
got
just do things in real life like a good little boy.
I think that's what a lot of people decided to do, is just like, oh yeah, I think I'm just gonna be an adult.
After COVID, everyone's just like, all right, YouTube fucking sucks. I'm done.
Well, I mean, Bree is still online. She still does streams.
Oh,
But-
Bumblebee.
Yep.
I'm gonna head out too. See y'all later.
Later,
See
Hillary.
Bye, Hillary's.
And then there was a Jew, a ginger, and a fucking albino.
Yes.
Speaking of the transgenders, I'm subscribed to Stephanie, and I went to go to one of her streams, and she had been streaming for like 30 minutes, and I noticed that nobody had been watching but me. So I went to go comment, wow, I'm the only person who's watching. And guess who's blocked on her channel? This fucking guy. So it's like, oh,
Wow.
that would explain a great many things, I suppose.
I thought you guys were cool. Like I remember you guys
No,
talking
it
in the
probably
stream.
wasn't her. It probably wasn't her. It's probably one of her fucking channel mods who couldn't handle my username.
Yeah, well,
No, I'm not gonna assume that she's a fucking pansy, but maybe, I don't know.
well,
So I can't wait for the fucking Kincaid versus Helton fucking lawsuit, dude. It's gonna be hype as
Not
fuck.
happening. I don't even know if that's true or not. I haven't even seen
You should ask him.
I did. As soon as I sent you that, I went over to the Rumble channel and it's like, so is something going on?
I was not gonna fucking afford it. Like, he barely has money to fucking fix his teeth.
Yeah, isn't he going dark or some shit?
Honestly, with everything I got going on right now, I couldn't afford it either. But
yeah,
I just bought a fucking house. All of my money is now house money at the moment. You gotta fix the gutters. You gotta put up new fucking fencing for the goats. The fucking chicken installation needs to be fortified because apparently we have osprey out here and hawks and peregrine falcons.
Well, I mean, like I said, if you want some help, just let me know. I'll fly out there.
All right.
The plantation needs many slaves to operate. I'll see.
Anyway, we can still talk. We can still talk off air, but I'm gonna slap you. Anyways, I'm gonna slap myself for stuttering. We could talk. We could still talk off air, but I'm just gonna end the stream. Everybody.
Oh yeah, before you end the stream, I just want to say you were like, and one thing, and one thing, and one thing, and I almost left in chat. Actually, now that's 3 things.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say the other thing you told me to say.
No, I was gonna be like, Sandy Hook is an inside job and probably didn't even happen.
Why didn't you wait till I ended the? Whatever. Knowing you, every time I go on this channel, you say something, they get to be in trouble with somebody. So
I was gonna
might as
say
well.
that. I was gonna say it, but I didn't say it.
You
I'm saying I was gonna say it. I'm not saying I did say it.
fucking legal loopholes.
But
Anyway,
anyway, so Sandy Hook,
okay, we're done. Okay, we're done. Thank you for coming. Jesus fucking